Chapter 485. Do you like him now? Jean Bebe asked with a smile. Bebe, can you not ask such a boring question? Cheng Minjing said impatiently. The basketball game between No. 1 middle school and No. 2 middle school was an important activity of the two schools every year. It was only held in the third year of high school, so Xiao Chen had never participated in it before. Song Huawu was sitting next to him. Xiao Chen did not expect that she would sit next to him in the car even though they were desk mates in the classroom. This made him a little speechless. Wasn't she trying to attract hatred for him? Xiao Chen knew that Yang Tan was very unhappy when he saw his expression. However, he did not care. If it were not for Yang Tan's identity, Xiao Chen would have beaten him up long ago. How is it? Do you feel like you have returned to No. 1 middle school with glory and glory? Song Huawu looked at Xiao Chen and asked teasingly. Don't joke with me. How can it be considered as returning to my hometown? I don't have any achievements. Xiao Chen said with a wry smile. However, when he returned to the Xiao family that day, he had a similar feeling. However, he could not reveal his identity, which made him feel a little regretful. Thinking about it, his grandfather would almost recover tonight and could officially take the medicine. Therefore, Xiao Chen planned to go back and get some medicine dregs for his grandfather after the basketball game. The car soon arrived at the sports field of No. 1 middle school. Xiao Chen got off the car with the other students. After a short break, the basketball players went to change their jerseys and get ready for the game. Xiao Chen glanced at the players of No. 1 middle school. He knew most of them. There were Chao Yuliang and Du Xiaonan, both of whom did not get along well with him. Du Xiaonan liked Kerlin, so he was full of hostility towards the former Xiao Chen. However, most of the time he dared not say anything even though he was angry. He only cooperated with Chao Yuliang to deal with him in the basketball game. Among the remaining three players, one was Lu Mingquan, who cooperated with Chen Jinping to accuse him of fixing the game. The other was Chen Yenzong, whom he was not familiar with. Xiao Chen did not know the last one. It seemed that he had never seen him before. Was he a new transfer? Judging from his domineering appearance, he did not look like someone easy to get along with, which made Xiao Chen more vigilant. Chao Yuliang also saw Xiao Chen and hesitated. He had talked to Xiao Chen before, but Xiao Chen asked him to play normally and did not ask him to cheat. Therefore Chao Yuliang did not approach him. However, Du Xiaonan was very arrogant after seeing him. He rushed over and pointed at Xiao Chen. Du Xiaochen, so you dare to come? Xiao Chen. Aren't you afraid of being beaten to a pulp again? Xiao Chen glanced at him. This fellow was just a pitiful worm trying to curry favor with Lin Ke. It was just that Lin Ke did not fancy him at all. In the past, Xiao Chen was unwilling to talk to him. Now Xiao Chen was even more lazy to talk to him. He did not even answer. However, Xiao Chen's indifference made Du Xiaonan even angrier. Although Xiao Chen was a good-for-nothing before, he was still the young master of the Xiao family. He did not dare to provoke him. Now Xiao Chen was a piece of trash who was chased out of the family. Du Xiaochen dared to provoke him because of this. Therefore he was furious. If he was not afraid of the PE teacher's interference, he would have resisted the urge to beat Xiao Chen. He sneered and said, "You think it'll be fine if you don't talk? In a while I will let you see who is the master of this court. If you lose, don't bother Kerlin in the future." Idiot. Xiao Chen glanced at him and mouthed, but there was no sound. You're good. Du Xiaonan was unbearably angry, but he could do nothing. The basketball match was about to start, so he could only turn around and go back. You know him? After Du Xiaonan went back, the young man that Xiao Chen did not know spoke. Yes, Brother Han. He used to pursue Kerlin, but Kerlin did not like him. However, he used his identity as the young master of the Xiao family to pester Kerlin. I did not expect that after being chased out of the Xiao family, he still has the face to come back to play basketball. Du Xiaonan said respectfully to the young man. And Xiao Chen's guess was not wrong. This young man was the transfer student who had just transferred to Du Xiaonan's class. He did not know if he had any background, but his strength was not weak. On the first day he had a conflict with the school bully Chao Yuliang. He slapped Chao Yuliang and sent him flying. He spun in the air before landing on the ground. This made Du Xiaonan extremely surprised, and he quickly ran over to acknowledge him as his boss. Everyone is a good basketball player, so I will not say much about the rules. Please play this friendly match with the mentality of friendship first and competition second. At this time, the PE teacher stood in the middle of the court and used the microphone to speak through the school broadcast. Attention students on the field, the basketball match is about to begin. Please retreat to the outside of the court and do not affect the normal progress of the basketball match. After hearing the broadcast, The surrounding students all retreated to the outside of the basketball court. Meanwhile, Xiao Chen and the others stood up and began to warm up. At exactly 1 o'clock in the afternoon, with the whistle of the referee on the court, the friendly match officially began. At the center line of the court, Du Xiaoxiaonan jumped high and hit the basketball into Brother Han's hands. His task was considered completed. Obviously the people from No. 1 middle school had discussed that whoever had the ball would try to give it to Brother Han. Just like the people from No. 2 middle school, they had also agreed in advance that if they had the ball, they would try to give it to Xiao Chen. After Brother Han got the ball, he immediately dodged and bypassed all the students from No. 2 middle school who rushed up to grab the ball. He dribbled the ball so skillfully that he almost looked like a professional basketball player. Xiao Chen did not act rashly. Instead, he kept observing Brother Han. If his guess was right, Brother Han should be a martial artist. He could tell from the inner force that he inadvertently revealed. Although he did not use his inner force, Xiao Chen's current divine sense was very sensitive. If an ordinary martial artist did not deliberately hide it, even if he did not use his inner force, he would still be able to inadvertently reveal some of it. Come on, come on. The cheers outside the basketball court were obviously for Brother Han. He was a very popular person. At this moment, Kerlin was mixed in the crowd and watching the game on the court. She did not know who she was here to watch, but she was sure that it was not Brother Han. She hated Brother Han more than anything else. What surprised Kerlin was that although Du Xiaonan had Brother Han as his boss, Brother Han did one thing in front of her and another behind her back. He clearly knew that Du Xiaonan liked her, but he secretly confessed to her and asked her to be with him. What kind of person was this? He was too dirty. Kerlin did not like him at all. She always felt that he was just pretending to be cool. He was far worse than Xiao Chen. She did not know why she was comparing herself with Xiao Chen. However, when Kerlin saw Xiao Chen in the court, she could not move her eyes away. Did she come to see him? Only Kerlin's eyes were on Xiao Chen. On the side of No. 1 middle school, most of the girls were watching Brother Han's cool performance and cheered excitedly at the side. In the midst of the cheers, Brother Han was not in a hurry. He quickly passed people and rushed to the basket at the same time. Swish! Under the basket, Brother Han took off, shot and scored. The whole process was done in one go. Wow! In an instant, the whole court cheered and the applause was thunderous. The audience of No. 1 middle school was obviously larger than that of No. 2 middle school. They were all shouting and cheering for Brother Han. Martial artist, he was definitely a martial artist. Now Xiao Chen could be sure that this Brother Han was undoubtedly a martial artist. But it was really strange that there was such a transfer student in No. 1 middle school. Brother Han, so handsome. Brother Han, you're too awesome. Brother Han, we love you. Some of the love-struck girls were shouting loudly. Brother Han's gaze swept across the crowd, and his sharp eyes stopped on Lin Kuer. He looked at Lin Kuer and smiled faintly. This woman was his. He, Brother Han, had never failed to get what he fancied. Lin Kuer could feel that this Brother Han was looking at her. However, she was bewildered as to why Brother Han was able to find her in the midst of so many people. This feeling made her feel extremely uncomfortable. In fact, in order to avoid Brother Han's harassment, she deliberately found a place that was not where her classmates were gathered and hid in the corner of the crowd. But she could not escape Brother Han's eyes. Fortunately, Brother Han only took a glance and retracted his gaze. This made Kerlin feel relieved. Maybe she was thinking too much. Brother Han did not actually see her. On the court, Xiao Chen looked at Chao Yuliang. Chao Yuliang shrugged helplessly. He used to be the main force in the basketball match, but now he was completely a foil. He meant to tell Xiao Chen that he could not do anything about this newcomer. At this moment, the members of No. 2 middle school were caught off guard. Even Yang Tan and Xia Shibin did not expect that there would be such a fierce person in No. 1 middle school. The whole process was done by one person. Of course, if Xiao Chen could see that this Brother Han was a martial artist, Yang Tan could naturally see it too. He worked on the front line of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau for many years. He was too familiar with martial artists and inner strength. Brother Han's inadvertent display of inner strength let him know that this person was a martial artist. Thinking of this, Yang Tan was a little angry. F***CK, I haven't even shown my inner strength and someone else has? Don't you know the rules of the secular world? Yang Tan was playing basketball for Song Huawu to see. He was now on the same team as Xiao Chen, so he was not in the mood to create any obstacles for Xiao Chen. After all, everyone was on the same team. If there was internal strife, it would only be a joke to more people. Therefore Yang Tan vented his anger on Brother Han. The game continued, but Xiao Qin did not give Brother Han another chance. His teammates from number 2 middle school passed the ball to him, and the ball never left his hand. He directly dribbled the ball and advanced toward the opponent's half-court. Unsurprisingly, Brother Han went to intercept Xiao Qin. In order to show his strength, Yang Tan quickly blocked Brother Han's side. While everyone was unprepared, he threw a punch at Brother Han's lower abdomen. Brother Han's eyes narrowed and then seemingly casually stretched out his hand and blocked Yang Tan's fist. Suddenly Yang Tan's whole body was cold as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. However, his body could not move as if he was frozen into an ice cube. He stood there in a daze, unable to do anything, like a silly statue. Chapter 486. After Brother Han's attack succeeded, he did not bother him. He directly bypassed him and ran towards Xiao Qin. Although Xiao Qin was dribbling the ball, his divine sense was locked on Brother Han. If there was an opponent in the arena, it would be this guy. Although he did not know what method Brother Han used, seeing Yang Tan standing there stupidly, Xiao Qin knew that this guy was not simple. He was a character. He did not wait for Brother Han to run over and directly jumped to shoot. Brother Han was stunned. He did not expect Xiao Qin to jump to shoot before reaching the three-point line. What kind of thinking was this? Could he score? But very soon, Brother Han knew that he had underestimated Xiao Qin. Xiao Qin really succeeded in shooting and got 3 points. Just now, Brother Han had only scored 2 points, but Xiao Qin caught up in an instant. This really made his face a little embarrassed. He heard that Kerlin liked to watch basketball games, so he came to play basketball. Otherwise, he would not be so bored to play this kind of game. He thought that this was his home field, he could play freely and watch his performance, but he did not expect to be directly slapped in the face. He looked coldly at Xiao Qin and gave him the middle finger. F***ck your mother's balls, did I offend you? Xiao Qin looked at Brother Han in bewilderment. It was really inexplicable. I succeeded in shooting, did you have to do this? You succeeded in shooting just now, but I did not give you the middle finger. This time, Brother Han regained control of the ball. Through a series of cooperation with his teammates, he broke through the half-court and prepared for a layup. Go down. Xiao Qin directly ran over, jumped, and blocked the shot. Thinking back, he was humiliated like this in the past, but now, he could humiliate others. Even if he used the ability of a cultivator, there were no real moves. Even Yang Tan could not see the strength of Xiao Qin because there were no fluctuations of martial force and he did not reveal his strength. What he saw was only the strength of Xiao Qin that was less than a level 1 martial artist. The rest was Xiao Qin's super high jumping ability. Pa! Xiao Qin swatted the basketball that Brother Han threw away as if he was swatting a fly. At that moment the scene froze. The players on the court were stunned, and the audience outside the court was stunned. Then, the cheers of Second High rang out, and the basketball rolled out of the court along with the cheers of the audience. Xiao Qin is so handsome. All hail Xiao Qin. Cousin-in-law, I love you. Jean Bebe shouted. Xiao Qin did not expect her to shout so loudly. However, in the cheers of the crowd, Xiao Qin still heard a somewhat weak voice. It was Kerlin. She was cheering for him. Xiao Qin's spectacular block made some of the students from No. 1 middle school who had watched Xiao Qin's last basketball match recall that block. Xiao Qin left after that. Today, Xiao Qin used his strong basketball skills to announce to everyone that he had made a strong comeback. The home court of the first high school was still Xiao Qin's. What match fixing? What cheating? All these rumors were dispelled at this moment. No one thought about Xiao Qin, who left dejectedly. In their eyes, there was only Xiao Qin who showed his invincible power. Brother Han was a little dumbfounded. He watched Xiao Qin run away. He did not believe that as a high-level martial artist and a devil cultivator, he could not beat an ordinary person. He could feel that when Xiao Qin blocked the shot, he did not use any internal force at all. It was like an ordinary person had trained to the limit, different from Yang Tan. But it was such an ordinary person that made him a little crazy. At that moment, his teammates all had sullen expressions on their faces. In their usual training, they thought that it would be easy and pleasant for Brother Han to win the basketball game alone. Who would have thought that things would turn out contrary to their expectations? It was not the case at all. The morale of the team members of the first high school plummeted. Brother Han ran to Xiao Qin's side and said with a sneer, "Boy, you won't be so lucky next time." "Oh," Xiao Qin responded indifferently and ignored him. "Damn, I'm talking to you." Brother Han was angry. No matter where he was the center of attention. Today he was humiliated by an ordinary person. How could he accept it? "Oh." Xiao Qin was still running. "Can't you say something else?" Brother Han was angry. Mother****. After Xiao Chen said that, he went to grab the ball. With the ball in his hand, he accelerated and instantly shook off Brother Han. He ran to the opponent's half-court and shot directly without waiting for Brother Han to catch up. A goal. When Brother Han ran over, Xiao Chen had already scored. He was furious and glared at Xiao Chen, but Xiao Chen turned around and ran to grab the ball again. At this time, after being scored by Xiao Chen one after another, the team members of the first high school were not as enthusiastic as before. But it was no wonder. They had agreed to watch Brother Han play alone. Now Brother Han could not cover him anymore. Moreover, they did not discuss cooperation in advance. They unanimously decided to pass the ball to Brother Han when they got it. They would not play by themselves at all. Seeing that his team's morale was low, Brother Han shouted, "Everyone stay alert. Du Xiaonan, you go and intercept that Xiao Chen. Defend to the death." "Yes." Du Xiaonan replied loudly. Then he ran to Xiao Chen's side with a sinister smile and looked at him provocatively. However, that expression was completely ignored by Xiao Chen as if he did not see it. The game continued. Xiao Chen ran forward and Du Xiaonan also ran forward. However, he had used this trick too many times by Yang Tan. Yang Tan, a martial artist, could not affect Xiao Chen, let alone Du Xiaonan. Soon Xiao Chen got the ball. Du Xiaonan saw that it was not good. He directly stretched out his hands to block in front of Xiao Chen, not letting him pass. Xiao Chen suddenly smiled and shot directly outside the half-court line. So, the ball drew a beautiful parabola and went in. Although it was only 3 points, it was shocking enough. Cheers came from the audience. Even Yang Tan had to admire Xiao Chen at this moment. He was frozen for a moment and just recovered. His heart was a little gloomy. Damn, this Brother Han is actually a martial artist and a demonic cultivator. I need to investigate him. Du Xiaonan gritted his teeth and clenched his fists. He did not expect Xiao Chen to be able to shoot successfully in such a situation. Looking at Du Xiaonan's incomparably sullen look, Brother Han was actually quite sullen. He was a martial artist and his opponent was an ordinary person. He was very unhappy that his opponent had completely won him with basketball skills. However, there was nothing he could do. He could not beat him up, right? That would be a complete loss. The game started again. The audience cheered for Xiao Chen. Even the students from No. 1 middle school who used to think that Xiao Chen was not bad also cheered for Xiao Chen. After all, Xiao Chen was from No. 1 middle school. It was not shameful to be defeated by him. This time Brother Han was furious. After serving, he went forward to intercept the ball. After getting the ball, Brother Han was like a galloping horse. He dribbled the ball straight to the half-court of No. 2 middle school, took off and shot. However, he did not expect that when the ball was about to enter the basket, it suddenly changed direction and bounced to the side. The shot failed. Originally, Brother Han was quite happy when he saw that Xiao Chen ran over too late. When he saw that Xiao Chen did not stop him, he thought that Xiao Chen could not stop him and was waiting to snatch the ball from under the basket. However, he really could not stop him in time. Xiao Chen was indeed trying to snatch the ball, but the key problem was that he did not make the shot. He did not know why there were times when he made a mistake. However, not to mention him, even if a martial arts master came, they would also make a mistake. When the ball left their hands, it would not be controlled by their own will. However, Xiao Chen could control it. He could control it through the air and easily change the direction of the ball. Xiao Chen snatched the ball and ran. Brother Han was so angry that he jumped up and down and chased after him. Wow. They thought that Brother Han would definitely make the shot, but he missed by a bit. This made the students from No. 1 middle school who were ready to cheer for him very disappointed. However, when the students from No. 2 middle school saw that Xiao Chen snatched the ball again, they were very excited and shouted, "Xiao Chen." Of course, Xiao Chen did not overdo it. If Brother Han could not catch up with him after using his inner force, then there would be a problem. However, when Brother Han was about to catch up with him, he directly shot the ball. Brother Han was so angry that he slapped his thigh, but there was nothing he could do. This Xiao Chen actually knew how to shoot from a long distance and he was very accurate. This made him very speechless. How could he stop him? When he caught up to Xiao Chen, he shot the ball. He was able to shoot from so far away, it was impossible to guard against. Xiao Chen's amazing shot once again attracted the screams of the students from No. 2 middle school. Even some of the girls from No. 1 middle school started to turn around and cheer for Xiao Chen, shouting Xiao Chen's name. In the past, Xiao Chen was actually very popular in No. 1 middle school. Don't think that he was a hedonistic young master or even a wastrel. Some of the girls from ordinary families also wanted to get close to him and get Xiao Chen's favor. However, at that time Xiao Chen was only interested in Xin Jingshan and Ke Lin. He also had Qing Minjing's fiancée, so the others had no chance at all. Damn it. Brother Han took a deep breath and looked at Xiaoqin coldly. Du Xiaonan walked over and said, Brother Han, why don't we play some dirty tricks on him? Yes. Brother Han originally disdained to use these tricks. If Yang Tan hadn't used them before he counterattacked, he wouldn't have used them at all. No matter what, he was a martial artist and had the pride of a martial artist. But now, perhaps because Xiaoqin was too outstanding and the situation on his side was too bad, Brother Han was worried that if this continued they would completely lose, so he agreed. In a while, you go and find a way to hurt Xiaoqin even if it's a foul. I understand. Du Xiaonan nodded maliciously. He looked at Xiaoqin and revealed a sinister smile. Xiaoqin also noticed that Brother Han and Du Xiaonan were a little dirty over there, but he didn't care. The way he shot, any tactics were ineffective against him. The game continued. Du Xiaonan was still the same as before, defending against Xiaoqin, but this time he was more arrogant than before. While Xiaoqin was not defending, he fiercely punched at Xiaoqin. Chapter 487. If Xiaoqin was an ordinary person, he would probably pass out after being punched by Du Xiaonan. Xiaoqin was a little annoyed. Did he provoke him? He smiled coldly and dribbled the ball in front of him. Just as Du Xiaonan's punch hit the ball. Bang! There was a loud sound. How hard was the basketball? Du Xiaonan attacked with all his strength again and hit the ball directly. He immediately cried out in pain, grimaced in pain, and howled while holding his hands. Xiaoqin ignored him and directly passed him to shoot the ball and score. Brother Han's face was very gloomy. He had been observing Xiaoqin and Du Xiaonan. When he saw Xiaoqin dribbling the ball in front of him, he knew that something was wrong. Sure enough, Du Xiaonan, that idiot, had hit the ball with a punch. It was his own doing, so it was impossible to judge Xiaoqin for a foul. There was no other way. Brother Han could only do it himself. Taking the risk of being warned, he came to Xiaoqin's side, and while everyone was not paying attention, he stretched out his finger and poked Xiaoqin's waist. A cold demonic energy was urged out and went straight into Xiaoqin's body. Although this demonic energy did not have any effect on Xiaoqin, that was because Xiaoqin was a cultivator. If it was an ordinary person, if such a cold demonic energy was injected into the waist, there would definitely be problems with the kidneys in the future. Even if it was not crippled, it would be impotent. Therefore Xiaoqin was angry. As a martial artist, how could he use such a sinister method to attack an ordinary person? This Brother Han did not seem to be a good person. Xiaoqin blacklisted him. If there was a chance, he would kill him. But now that they were on the court, Xiaoqin could only endure it for now. However, at this moment Xiaoqin also made a move and shot directly. After he scored, he stood in place, motionless as if he was frozen. Brother Han was very annoyed. He had been frozen, but this guy still struggled at the last moment, allowing him to score again. In the following game, because Xiaoqin was frozen, Brother Han scored again and again. After a while, the score was only 4 points away. Without Xiaoqin, even Yang Tan couldn't resist Brother Han's attack. Yang Tan looked at Xiaoqin and knew that Xiaoqin had been tricked. If it was in school, he would be happy to see Xiaoqin get tricked, but outside, if second high school lost, it would be very embarrassing for him. In desperation, he was prepared to be ruthless and directly stop the match. Although he didn't know what second high meant, he still agreed. Yang Tan walked towards Xiaoqin and glanced at him. Did you fall for it? That Brother Han or whatever is a martial artist. I was also hit just now. And I just recovered a little. Xiaoqin nodded. This bastard is more cunning than you. Yang Tan's face darkened. He snorted and walked towards Brother Han. Brother Han was a little puzzled. What was Yang Tan doing here? When Yang Tan approached, he heard him say, "Come with me." "Who are you?" Brother Han was taken aback and immediately said, "Do you think I'll come just because you told me to? Don't talk nonsense. You are also a martial artist. We all understand." As he spoke, Yang Tan took the lead and walked to a place where there was no one. Brother Han hesitated for a moment, but he still got up and followed. He said, "If you have something to say, just say it. I am from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Who asked you to use your martial artist cultivation on an ordinary person?" Yang Tan said coldly, "Which family are you from? Tell me your name, otherwise don't blame me for being rude." Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Brother Han was slightly taken aback, but he smiled and said, "Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Just tell me?" Yang Tan didn't talk nonsense. He directly took out an ID and threw it in front of Brother Han. He said, "See for yourself if you don't believe me." Brother Han glanced at Yang Tan's ID and suddenly smiled. "Team C leader, I'm sorry. You can't control me. I am from a sect. You?" Yang Tan didn't expect Brother Han to not give him face. Even if he was in Team C, responsible for managing the families and the summit in the secular world, he was at least a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Although these sects and martial arts families were managed by Team B, he still had face. Alright, you don't have to say any more. You don't have to scare me. This competition is very important to me. I want to win. Tell that Xiao Qin not to go against me and I won't make a move again. Brother Han said coldly. Alright, you have guts. Don't fall into my hands. Yang Tan sneered and left. He felt a little aggrieved. He really couldn't control these people from the sects, but it didn't mean that he couldn't take a roundabout way. He decided to go back and investigate this Brother Han's background, then find a reason to mess with him. The competition started again. This time Yang Tan stared at Brother Han. He would go wherever this person went and he was on guard. It was impossible for Brother Han to use the same trick to stop him. Don't forget that Yang Tan was very strong. If he really fought with Brother Han, he definitely wouldn't fall behind. Brother Han was annoyed by Yang Tan's stare. There was no other way. Brother Han could only watch as Xiao Qin continued to score. However, he was a little puzzled. This Xiao Qin recovered really quickly. Didn't he destroy his kidney? Previously, when Xiao Qin stood on the spot and didn't move, the audience outside the field was guessing what happened to Xiao Qin. Even Qing Minjing was a little worried and Kerlin was even more so. But now that they saw that Xiao Qin was full of energy again, they couldn't help but feel relieved. It seemed that Xiao Qin was still very strong. Xiao Qin scored again and again. By the end of the half, Second High School was already far ahead by more than 30 points. Brother Han was being closely watched by Yang Tan, leaving him at his wits' end. The two of them couldn't really use their real martial arts skills to fight. Don't be fooled by Brother Han's relaxed words. In reality, he was still somewhat afraid of Yang Tan. If it was a small soldier from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, he could ignore it, but how could he ignore the deputy leader of Team C? Even if Team C couldn't control him, how could he know that he had no friends in Team B? When the time came, he would let Team B deal with him. Although he didn't commit a big crime, he was afraid that it would be very troublesome. Therefore, the two of them were at each other's throats, restraining each other. It allowed Xiao Qin to show off his prowess. Although Yang Tan was also a little unhappy that the limelight was taken by Xiao Qin, if Second High School lost, it would be even more embarrassing for him. On the other hand, when the physical education teacher of Second High School saw that Yang Tan was pestering Brother Han and competing with him, he was immediately very pleased. It seemed that he was right. Although Yang Tan's ball skills were a little bad, no one could compete with him when it came to pestering. In the second half, it directly became Xiao Chen's solo performance. Even the members of First High School, led by Chao Yuliang, were a little bit giving up. Only Du Xiaonan was still running around trying to defend, but he couldn't defend at all. Xia Shibin saw that he was quite annoying, so he found an opportunity to make a small move and directly knocked him down. Second High School, the final victory. The audience cheered. This was because there was actually no suspense in the second half of the game. The whole game was Xiao Chen's performance. There was no longer any morale. The other members of Second High School had also become spectators, only watching Xiao Chen shoot and perform. Although First High School had lost, the sports team leader did not lose too much face. In the past, First High School had won more, but this year, although they had lost, he said, Xiao Chen is a student from our First High School. In the past, when Xiao Chen was in our First High School, he was a good basketball player. Therefore, I am not surprised that Second High School won with Xiao Chen participating in the game. Although this sports team leader's speech sounded a little like he was exonerating himself, what he said was indeed the truth. Second High School sports team leader was very happy and said a lot. Although Xiao Chen was a transfer, he now represented Second High School, right? The annual basketball game had come to an end. The students of Second High School also boarded the bus and prepared to leave. However, Yang Tan pointed at Brother Han and made a gesture, indicating that he would not let him off. Brother Han watched as Yang Tan boarded the bus and frowned slightly. He did not expect that someone from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau would attend Second High School. Now that he had offended them, he did not know if there would be trouble in the future. However, he quickly let go of this thought. So what if they were from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? He did not commit any crimes. It was just a small problem. When the time came, the school would definitely protect him. When he turned his head and saw the dejected Du Xiaonan, Brother Han smiled and said, Du Xiaonan, look for Kerlin to go out and eat something with us? Sure. Du Xiaonan suddenly perked up. He did not know that Brother Han was also interested in Kerlin. He thought that Brother Han was simply trying to matchmake him. After finding Kerlin, Du Xiaonan said, Kerlin, Brother Han said that we should go out and eat something together? How about it? It's my treat. Well, you guys go ahead. Kerlin naturally did not want to have anything to do with Brother Han and Du Xiaonan. She shook her head repeatedly and said, I have to go back to study. After saying that, Kerlin quickly walked to the teaching building. Brother Han looked at Kerlin's back with a flash of desire in his eyes. He must have this woman. But on the surface he pretended as if nothing had happened and said, Then let's go eat together. Let's go. Okay, Brother Han. Du Xiaonan nodded repeatedly. Because of the basketball game, there were no classes in the afternoon in Class 1, Grade 12 of the second high school. Those who were willing to go back to school for self-study could do so. Those who were unwilling could leave school early. Xiao Chen planned to send the medicine to his grandfather, so he left after informing the eldest Mississippi. He left the car for Jean Bebe to drive and called a taxi back to the villa. He took the medicine dregs and called another taxi to the Xiao family's mansion. Xiao Hai was a little surprised that White Fox came to the Xiao family at this time, but he still welcomed him warmly. Hero White Fox, why are you here at this time? Grandpa Xiao should have recovered, right? I concocted some medicine for him. Decoct this medicinal herb for him to consume. In about a week's time, his body will be as good as new. If supplemented with training, it's not impossible for him to regain his previous strength. Xiao Chen said as he passed the medicinal dregs in his hand to Xiao Hai. Thank you so much. Xiao Hai took the medicine dregs and said quickly, Hero White Fox, please come in and have a seat. I'll ask someone to serve tea. Chapter 488. No need, I'll go see Grandpa Xiao. Xiao Chen waved his hand and rejected Xiao Hai's politeness. Coming to the Xiao family was actually the same as returning to his own home. He wasn't used to Xiao Hai's politeness. That's good too. Xiao Hai nodded and brought Xiao Chen to Xiao Yuanshan's room. At this moment, Xiao Yuanshan was doing some regular exercises. Seeing White Fox coming in, he was slightly startled and smiled. White Fox Hero, you're here again. My illness is almost healed, I really have to thank you. Grandpa Xiao, you don't have to be so polite and you don't have to call me Hero. I'm of the same generation as Xiao Chen, you can just call me White Fox and Uncle Xiao too. Xiao Chen quickly said. Xiao Hai was slightly stunned, but in his heart, could it be that White Fox also took a fancy to Xiao Xiao? So he placed me on the same generation as Xiao Chen? Thinking about it, it wasn't impossible, but it wasn't a good question to ask, so he just nodded. All right, then I'll do as you say. Grandpa Xiao, I'll help you check the poison in your body again. Xiao Chen said and went to check Xiao Yuanshan's pulse. Good, that's great, White Fox, you're too polite, I'm fine now. Xiao Yuanshan nodded and said, Do you want to eat here tonight? It's fine, I still have something to do. Xiao Chen shook his head, he still had to go cook for Missy. He didn't know why, but for Cheng Minjing, Xiao Chen's heart couldn't let go. There was a faint feeling that he couldn't let go. Alright then. Xiao Yuanshan didn't force him to stay, he just said, If there's a chance in the future, you and Xiao Chen can come together, I'll entertain you again. Alright, there will be a chance. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly in his heart. Let me and Xiao Chen come together? I won't have such a chance in this lifetime. Grandpa Xiao, if you don't have any more questions, then I'll take my leave first. Take this medicine once a day and endure for half an hour, no more and no less. After taking it, you must train to recover your inner strength as soon as possible. Xiao Chen instructed. Okay, I understand. Xiao Hai nodded and said, How many times do I need to take this medicine? There is no special time limit. Uncle Xiao, you can do as you see fit, Xiao Chen said. All right then, I'll see how it goes, Xiao Hai replied. Then I'll leave first. You don't need to see me off. Uncle Xiao, please boil the medicine for Grandpa Xiao. Xiao Chen said. Okay, then I won't send you off. Xiao Hai looked at Xiao Chen with a strange gaze. He thought of something but didn't say it. However, Xiao Xiao shouldn't be out of school yet, right? However, White Fox obviously didn't want him to interfere too much in his matters. If White Fox didn't say it, Xiao Hai couldn't say much either. Xiao Chen was indeed going to find Xiao Xiao. He didn't know that Xiao Hai had already seen the scene last time. If he knew, he probably wouldn't know whether to laugh or cry. This second uncle's misunderstanding was too deep. He actually thought that I have that kind of relationship with Xiao Xiao. Xiao Chen didn't drive today, so he thought that the Xiao family wouldn't pay attention if he left alone or not. He quickly left Xiao Yuanshan's villa and walked into Xiao Zhao's villa. At this moment, Xiao Xiao shouldn't be out of school yet. Xiao Chen directly opened the door and entered the villa, waiting for Xiao Xiao inside. Anyway, it was his sister's room. Xiao Chen didn't have anything to avoid. After entering, he didn't have any intentions. He casually opened the laptop on Xiao Zhao's desk and prepared to play online for a while. The computer turned on. On the desktop, there was a text document with email account written on it. Xiao Chen was a little puzzled. Did Xiao Zhao's email account need to be a separate text document? Xiao Chen had nothing to do. While the computer was connected to the Wi-Fi signal, he casually opened it. However, when Xiao Chen saw the email address on it, he was shocked. This was actually the account that repeatedly sent him emails. Previously, it was this email address that reminded him of the relationship between Xiao Yuliang and Qing Mingxiang. It was also this email address that told him that the Xiao family was in trouble. However, this email address was actually Xiao Zhao's. Otherwise, why would it appear on Xiao Zhao's computer? Moreover, there was an email password in the text. It was obviously Xiao Zhao's without a doubt. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a password. Xiao Chen took a deep breath. He quickly opened the browser and logged into this email. Sure enough, he found the emails that were sent to him in the sent emails. This discovery made Xiao Chen's mood a little heavy. He closed the webpage and the laptop. He was no longer in the mood to go online. Perhaps he had misunderstood Xiao Xiao in the past. It seemed that Xiao Xiao had always been concerned about me. Otherwise, Xiao Xiao wouldn't have sent these things to me. However, why did Xiao Xiao act so indifferent to me in front of others? Could it be? I suddenly remembered that sometimes the Missy treated me like this in front of others. Could it be a disguise? At this moment, Xiao Chen figured out some things. Wasn't Xiao Zhao's disdain for him a form of protection? If in the eyes of outsiders Xiao Xiao was still the same as before and maintained a good relationship with me, then why was he kicked out of the Xiao family? However, this made Xiao Chen a little puzzled. This was because before he was kicked out of the Xiao family, Xiao Xiao seemed to be very indifferent to him. However, Xiao Zhao's secret concern for me was real. That day when she recognized me, it wasn't because I was the white fox that Xiao Xiao recognized me snobbishly. Before that, Xiao Xiao had secretly reminded me several times. If it was said that Xiao Zhao's indifference to me was protection, then what was the past? Xiao Chen couldn't figure it out. He subconsciously opened Xiao Zhao's drawer and looked around casually. It wasn't that Xiao Chen wanted to peek at his sister's privacy, but he was a little puzzled and did it casually. Suddenly, Xiao Chen's eyes fell on a few pink receipts in the drawer. This was a bank card receipt. When Xiao Chen saw the familiar card number and password, he was shocked again. He remembered this card number and password very clearly. At that time, it inexplicably appeared in Tang Tang's pocket. He thought it was Yu Xiaochuan's money to pick up girls, but it didn't seem to be the case, so he remembered the card number at that time. Unexpectedly. Thinking about that day, Xiao Xiao was indeed there. It seemed that Xiao Xiao must have given it to him. So, Xiao Xiao had indeed been paying attention to me and secretly helped me. This also made Xiao Chen more puzzled. Why did Xiao Xiao used to be indifferent to him? Just when Xiao Chen was a little puzzled, the sound of the door opening came from outside the villa. It should be Xiao Xiao coming back. Xiao Chen didn't close the drawer. He just stared at the bank account receipt in a daze. Ah. Brother, why are you here? As soon as Xiao Xiao entered the door, she was shocked. She didn't expect that there was someone in the room. Even if she saw clearly who it was, she was still scared. Ah, Xiao Xiao, you are back. Xiao Chen raised his head and looked at Xiao Xiao. His eyes were full of love. It turned out that his sister had never given up on him. Xiao Chen was very moved. Yeah, brother, why are you so early? Why did you come home today? You touched my stuff? Xiao Xiao was shocked when she saw her drawer was opened. She ran over quickly and closed the drawer with a quang dang sound. However, she seemed to be worried. She opened the drawer again and took out a diary from the innermost part. When she saw the lock on it, she heaved a sigh of relief and said with some vigilance, Brother, why did you touch my drawer? I was just bored, so I just looked around. Xiao Chen was a little embarrassed. Don't you know that you can't look at a girl's privacy? Xiao Xiao glared at Xiao Chen. Did you touch my diary? No, there is a lock on it. How can I touch it? Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. Even if I have no morals, I can't peek at my sister's diary, right? Oh. Xiao Xiao nodded as if she was relieved, but she immediately became vigilant. No, the door of my villa room is obviously locked. How did you get in? Look. Xiao Chen was stunned. He came in with his energy, but he couldn't explain it. I used to have a spare key. Oh? Xiao Xiao looked at Xiao Chen strangely. Brother, are you a siscon? Why did you keep my room key for no reason? Are you thinking of doing something to me one day? How is this possible? Xiao Chen suddenly broke into a sweat. I think it's very likely. Why don't you just admit it? Said Xiao Xiao. Cough cough. Okay Xiao Xiao, let's not talk about this. Xiao Chen wasn't in the mood to joke. He said to Xiao Xiao solemnly, Xiao Xiao, thank you. Thank me? Thank me for what? Xiao Xiao was stunned. Xiao Chen didn't say anything. He just took out the bank account from the drawer and put it on the table. He believed that Xiao Xiao should understand. Sure enough, Xiao Xiao's face changed and she said, Brother, you know? And thank you Xiao Xiao. I misunderstood you before. I thought that you looked down on me so you were cold to me. But now that I think about it, you were afraid that people would think that I have a relationship with the Xiao family, so you deliberately did this, and then you secretly helped me. Xiao Chen said, I also know about the email you sent me. Oh. Xiao Xiao looked like she didn't care, but in her heart, she was a little happy. Brother finally knew that she was good to him. In fact, she also hoped that one day Xiao Chen could find out, but sometimes she didn't want him to find out. But when he really found out, she didn't expect her heart to be very relaxed. Chapter 489. Xiao Xiao, I have a question. Since you've always cared about me, why, when I wasn't chased out of the Xiao clan, you were indifferent to me? It was as if you hated this good-for-nothing brother of yours. Xiao Chen finally asked the question in his heart. Did I? I don't think so. Xiao Xiao's eyes flickered. Yes. Xiao Chen nodded. I don't know about that. Maybe I thought it was embarrassing for you to pursue Xin Jingxian and Xin Jingxian ignored you. Xiao Xiao said, moreover, you and Cheng Menjing are engaged. I'm still sticking to you. What if she misunderstands? Xiao Chen suddenly didn't know whether to laugh or cry. You're my sister. Why would they misunderstand? I don't know about that. I forgot, said Xiao Xiao. Okay. Xiao Chen saw that Xiao Xiao didn't say anything, so he had to give up. Right, how is your relationship with Cheng Mingqiang? Asked Xiao Chen. It's over. We broke up. Xiao Xiao said, the Xiao family is like this and he didn't do anything about it. Why should I be with him? It's enough for me to have my brother. I don't need him. But it's different. Although I can indeed save the Xiao family's loss, Cheng Mingqiang is your boyfriend. He represents the Cheng family. You should also understand. Just like when I was rejected by the Cheng family and was kicked out of the Xiao family, Menjing was also powerless. But in fact, her heart is still quite good, but she can't change the family's decision. Xiao Chen said, I think Cheng Mingqiang should be the same. Although Xiao Chen didn't like Cheng Mingqiang since it was Xiao Zhao's choice, he could only support it. Xiao Xiao listened to Xiao Chen's words. Instead of being happy, she glared at Xiao Chen. She was a little angry and suddenly shouted, Brother, do you understand? I'm with him because I'm afraid that he will harm you. I'm going to spy on him. I don't like him. Now that you're so powerful, you're not afraid of him at all. Why should I go? Am I going to look for trouble? I've never liked him. Xiao Chen stared blankly at Xiao Xiao. Although he already knew that Xiao Xiao was secretly concerned about him, he was still shocked when he heard Xiao Xiao say this. For his sake, Xiao Xiao actually compromised and pretended to be with Cheng Mingqiang just to spy on him? At this moment, Xiao Chen turned silent. Xiao Xiao was too good to him and he had misunderstood her in the past. This made Xiao Chen feel apologetic. He took a deep breath and said, Xiao Xiao, thank you. Today I, your brother, solemnly promise you that in the future, no one will be able to force you. If you don't like it, not even if it's Grandpa's promise. If it's something you like, I'll definitely support it. Really? After hearing Xiao Chen's words, the anger on Xiao Zhao's face dissipated a lot. Her beautiful eyes flickered with a strange light. You promise? I promise. Xiao Chen nodded. If I don't like it, no one can force me? Xiao Xiao asked. Yes. Xiao Chen nodded again. If I like it, you'll support me? Xiao Xiao asked again. Yes, if he doesn't agree, I'll beat him up until he agrees. Xiao Chen smiled. Haha, good. Xiao Xiao laughed and hugged Xiao Chen. She said coquettishly, Brother, you're so good to me. Aren't you the same? I've neglected you in the past. Xiao Chen sighed. In that case, I'll tell the Cheng family to forget about it. If Cheng Mingqiang continues to pester you, I'll kill him. Yes. Xiao Xiao said happily. By the way, that Qi Zhigao? Xiao Chen asked again. I don't like him either. At most, we can be good friends. If there's no other choice, then I'll choose him. But now, with you supporting me, I won't choose. Xiao Xiao said. Besides, now that the Xiao family has White Fox as their backer, there's no need for a marriage. Hee hee. Xiao Chen smiled. Xiao Xiao was happy and he felt happy too. Then, I'll go first. Menjing is still waiting for me to cook for her. Xiao Xiao heard it and frowned immediately. Brother, why does she want you to cook for her? She's your fiancé, so she should have the awareness of a fiancé. If you were still the previous Xiaochen, I wouldn't say anything if she was a little stronger. But your white fox, who doesn't want to be with you? She doesn't want it. There are many beautiful women waiting in line at the door. She even wants you to cook for her. Well, Xiao, in fact, Menjing is not bad. Xiaochen waved his hand and said, in the past, when I pursued Shen Jingshen in front of her, she must have felt very sad. You may not understand, but put yourself in her shoes. How embarrassed was Menjing at that time? Why don't I understand? Xiao muttered. Forget it. Go back, brother. But you have to come home often. Okay. Xiaochen nodded. Then he left Xiao Zhao's villa and disappeared into the night. When he returned home at night, Qing Menjing was already home. She saw Xiaochen and said, Xiaochen, don't cook tonight. Just eat something. You must be tired from the basketball match today, right? Oh. Cousin Menjing is starting to care about her cousin-in-law. Jean Bebe said with a smile. This is not concern. This is human nature. Qing Menjing said, are you going to ask him to cook? I don't think that's necessary, Jean Bebe said. It's okay. I'm not tired. Xiaochen said with a smile, today's basketball match was very easy. I didn't spend much effort. After saying that, Xiaochen went into the kitchen. After a while, a table of delicious food was served. When he came back with the bowls and chopsticks, he found that Yi Xiaoya had also come down. He could not help but say with a smile, you're fast. Of course. I went to check my herbs and came here. Yi Xiaoya said proudly, Menjing lied to me and said that she wouldn't cook tonight. Thanks to my wit, I would have missed it. Who lied to you? I just thought that Xiaochen must be exhausted from today's basketball match. So, I don't want him to cook, Qing Menjing snorted. You even know how to care about others? Yi Xiaoya widened her eyes in surprise. You. Qing Menjing was so angry that her chest was heaving. Hey, don't be too angry. There are so many delicacies. Don't be too full later. Yi Xiaoya said. You. Qing Menjing was so angry that she almost choked. It's okay, cousin Menjing. If we can't eat now, we can take the food to the bedroom and eat slowly. But some people won't be able to eat it, Jean Bebe said slowly. Oh, that's true. Qing Menjing nodded with appreciation. You. Yi Xiaoya glared at Jean Bebe. She was also very angry. Seeing that Jean Bebe had successfully turned the tables, Qing Menjing was also happy. She started to eat. After eating, Qing Menjing and Jean Bebe went to rest. Xiaochen went back to his room to brew medicine and prepare for his cultivation. Yi Xiaoya went upstairs to play with her flowers for a while. After Xiaochen drank the medicine and finished his training, he went upstairs to find Yi Xiaoya for dual cultivation. Yi Xiaoya saw that the white fox came quite early today. She was a little surprised. Why are you so early today? I came because I didn't have anything to do, Xiaochen said. Stop talking nonsense. Take off your clothes, Yi Xiaoya replied with an oh, and thought to herself, why does it sound like an adulterous couple having an affair? But she still took off her clothes and began to do dual cultivation with Xiaochen. Yi Xiaoya was already an evil cultivator at the peak of the 6th level of her internal force. If she worked harder, she might be able to reach the 7th level. Therefore, she had been practicing hard these days. Although Yi Xiaoya also knew that it was wrong to practice with the white fox naked every day, she couldn't resist the temptation of improving her strength. This kind of dual cultivation brought her so many benefits that she couldn't stop. Every day she tried to persuade herself not to go on like this. How could there be such a pure friendship between men and women? Even if there was, something would happen sooner or later if they kept taking off their clothes every day. Fortunately, the white fox had always been very well behaved. It wouldn't be touchy. After the dual cultivation, it would put on its clothes and leave. Why does it feel like a guest? After Xiaochen finished the dual cultivation, he quickly left. He was in a hurry to inject his primordial energy into the seeds in the flower bed. There were more seeds buried this time, so he had to be more attentive. Otherwise, what if the seeds weren't ready after bragging in front of Yi Xiaoya? Therefore, Xiaochen changed his clothes and began to busy himself in the flower bed. Yi Xiaoya, on the other hand, was in her room consolidating the cultivation strength she obtained from the dual cultivation today. Every time they cultivated, she made great progress and she was very happy. If this continued, breaking through to the Master Warrior realm wouldn't be a dream anymore. Click, there was a soft sound. Yi Xiaoya was startled. She turned her head alertly and saw a black shadow appear outside the window. Although there were curtains on the window, the curtains were set off by the moonlight. She could still vaguely see the situation outside. Yi Xiaoya was startled to see someone on her windowsill. This person couldn't be the white fox. After all, the white fox walked into her room openly every time. Besides, the white fox had just left, so how could he come back? At this thought, Yi Xiaoya couldn't help but feel nervous. Subconsciously, she grabbed a nightgown and covered herself with it. Meanwhile, the black figure seemed to have opened the window and jumped into the room. "Yibiya, I finally found you." After the black shadow entered the room, he saw Yi Xiaoya's appearance clearly with the moonlight outside the window and sneered. "You are." Yi Xiaoya was stunned. He actually called her Yibiya. Obviously, he wasn't someone she was familiar with. He should be someone from the martial arts world. "Last year you took on a mission to encircle and annihilate a demonic cultivator. You took advantage of my injury and almost killed me. Don't you remember?" The black shadow looked coldly at Yi Xiaoya and said, "It's you. You are in Daoma." Yi Xiaoya suddenly remembered the identity of the person. Yes, last year she did take on a mission to encircle and annihilate an injured demonic cultivator. Chapter 490. At that time, Daoma was an evil cultivator who had reached the peak of level 10 of inner force. However, because he was injured, Yi Xiaoya and a few other evil cultivators who were on level 4 or 5 of inner force were able to defeat him and almost kill him. However, at the critical moment, Daoma's amazing willpower burst out and escaped from the hands of the trial takers. This made Yi Xiaoya and the others feel very regretful. The reward for this task was not low. They didn't complete the task, so naturally they wouldn't get a single point. They thought that this matter was over, but they didn't expect that Daoma would come to them again after a year. "Yes, it's me. It seems that you still recognize me." Daoma laughed and looked at Yi Xiaoya. "This is the last one. You made me look for you, but I finally found you." "What do you mean? The others?" Yi Xiaoya's heart jumped as she asked. "Of course they were killed by me." Daoma said coldly, "Do you think that I will let you go after I recover from my injuries? Each and every one of you will be tortured to death by me. Today I will beat you to death the same way you ganged up on me." As he spoke, Daoma's aura appeared, which made Yi Xiaoya's heart sink. The aura on Daoma's body had clearly surpassed the peak of stage 10 internal force. It had the aura of a martial master. Could it be that Daoma had broken through to the martial master realm? Yi Xiaoya knew that she was definitely no match for the person in front of her. Even if he was at the peak of stage 10 internal force, she would still be helpless, let alone a martial master. Yi Xiaoya knew that she wouldn't be able to escape today, but she wasn't willing to die like this. "You want to kill me?" Yi Xiaoya asked. "What do you think?" Daoma looked at Yi Xiaoya with a faint smile. "I'm different from the others. I'm from the Devil Star sect, a candidate for the Holy Virgin of the Devil sect. I have a marriage contract with the Devil sect. If you kill me, it's the same as going against the entire Devil sect." Yi Xiaoya had no choice. She couldn't beat him, so she could only threaten him. "Really? Actually, you're right. I've always been going against the demon sect. Even if I don't kill you, would the demon sect let me go?" Daoma looked at Yi Xiaoya mockingly. "Little girl, aren't you a little too naive?" "This?" Yi Xiaoya was suddenly at a loss for words. "Yes, even if he let me go, the people from the demonic sects will not let him go. Although the demonic sects and the righteous sects are opposed, the demonic sects and the evil cultivators are even more irreconcilable. The reputation of the devil sect was ruined by these evil cultivators. Their cultivation methods were unscrupulous. Some were cruel, some were disgusting, some were immoral, and some violated morality. However, many people thought that evil cultivators were evil cultivators, so evil cultivators hated evil cultivators even more. What do you think? Thought it through? If you've thought it through, then obediently accept your death." Daoma said, "You also don't want to fight with me here and be heard by others, right? If your other tenants hear this and see me, then I'm sorry, I'll have to silence them. Then what do you want?" Yi Xiaoya frowned and asked. Although she didn't get along well with Cheng Menjing and Jin Beibei, it was just a daily conflict. Yi Xiaoya would not kill them. "Come with me. Let's find a place where there's no one, and then I'll slowly torture you." Daoma smiled. He threatened Yi Xiaoya because he wanted to make her obediently submit and be tortured to death. However, this was obviously not a good place. "Well, lead the way." Yi Xiaoya took a deep breath. She didn't have much hope. Even if the white fox was here, it would be useless. Daoma's momentum was too strong. Last year, he was already an evil cultivator at the peak of stage 10 of internal strength. Now, at least, he was still at his original strength. Therefore, the white fox was not his opponent. Only one more person would die here. Since Yi Xiaoya couldn't escape, she had to accept her fate. Nice. And Dalmo nodded. He jumped down from the window and stood directly in the yard of the villa. Yi Xiaoya also jumped down from the window. When Xiao Qin came out before, Ndalma had already gone up, so Xiao Qin didn't notice him. However, when Ndalma came out, Xiao Qin found him and was shocked. Who the hell jumped down from the sky? When he was about to see what was going on, he saw another person jump down. One of them was Yi Xiaoya and the other one Xiao Qin didn't know. However, judging from his momentum, he should also be a warrior, and his strength was not low. Yi Xiaoya didn't expect Xiao Qin to get up so early. He stood in front of the flower garden and fiddled with the flowers and plants. Originally, she wanted to see if Xiao Qin's plants bore fruit. If he was diligent, she would be happier. However, she couldn't be happy at all. Wasn't Xiao Qin courting death here? Sure enough, Ndalma looked at Xiao Qin and said, "Who are you?" "Yi Xiaoya, who is this? Your friend?" Xiao Qin asked calmly. The murderous look in Ndalma's eyes was keenly captured by Xiao Qin. This person obviously wanted to harm him, so he was definitely not Yi Xiaoya's friend. "Ah yes, Xiao Qin, you continue with your work. I'll go out for a while. I'll be back soon." Yi Xiaoya said quickly and secretly winked at Xiao Qin. "Ah, it's so late, you still want to go out? How about I accompany you?" Xiao Qin was worried that Yi Xiaoya would go with this person. If she left, would she be able to come back? This person's aura made Xiao Qin very uncomfortable. He didn't feel it when he was far away, but when he got closer, Xiao Qin felt that this was a kind of evil aura, similar to those evil cultivators he had encountered before. After listening to Xiao Qin's words, Yi Xiaoya was about to explode. "Why are you showing off at this time? I've never seen you so enthusiastic before. Is there something wrong with you today? I've already winked at you, didn't you see it? If you want to stop, go back and rest. Why are you joining in the fun?" "Oh, Yi Xiaoya, is this your boyfriend? Not bad, he seems to care about you." Ndalma's eyes flashed with a touch of ridicule. He immediately said, "Okay, young man, since you are so worried, come with me." "Okay." Xiao Qin nodded. Yi Xiaoya was going crazy. Did Xiao Qin sleep too much today? Xiao Qin acted as if he didn't see Yi Xiaoya's expression and went up to her. Yi Xiaoya was dressed so lightly that she obviously didn't even wear underwear. She just covered herself with a big nightgown and came down. It was obvious that she was in a hurry. And this man was an evil cultivator. Why was he so anxious to find Yi Xiaoya? What good could it be? Xiao Qin was thinking about Yi Xiaoya's safety at the moment. He didn't even care to go back to change clothes and put on a mask. He was afraid that if he went back to change clothes and put on a mask, Yi Xiaoya and this evil cultivator would have already gone far. So he decided to follow them directly and see if there was anything he could do to help. As for revealing his identity, Xiao Qin didn't care. Compared with Yi Xiaoya's safety, his identity was not so important. He just needed to kill this evil cultivator. He thought that Yi Xiaoya would keep it a secret for him. Yi Xiaoya, your boyfriend is so good to you. Shouldn't you be very happy? Very well, then let's go together. Ndalma said. Yi Xiaoya glared at Xiao Qin angrily, but she couldn't hint at him. Yi Xiaoya was afraid that if she revealed Ndalma's identity, Ndalma would kill Xiao Qin directly. After all, if Xiao Qin left and reported it to the Warrior Guild or the Supernatural Investigation Bureau the next day, then the news of Ndalma's reappearance would spread and he would be wanted again. So there was no other way. Yi Xiaoya could only stomp her feet and walk in front. Xiao Qin followed her calmly. This villa area was basically located in the suburbs, far away from the city center. Because of the remote terrain, there was a mountain range behind the villa area. In fact, most of the rich people who lived in the villa area stayed because of the beautiful environment here. It's just that the mountain range was basically a landscape. Not many people went up the mountain. At most, when the weather was good, they would play at the foot of the mountain during the day. At night, there was no one on the mountain. Of course, there was still some distance between the mountain range and the villa area. However, Ndalma and Yi Xiaoya were both warriors, so their pace was very fast. Originally, Yi Xiaoya wanted to walk faster and directly get rid of Xiao Qin, but she didn't expect that Xiao Qin was still leisurely following behind her. Yi Xiaoya really didn't know what to do. This guy's stamina and speed were not bad. No wonder he won the basketball game. It turned out that he was an athlete. But what was the use of this? His stamina was nothing in the eyes of high-level warriors and evil cultivators like Ndalma. The three arrived at the foot of the mountain range together. Yi Xiaoya saw a tent not far from the mountain. Obviously, this should be Ndalma's place. She didn't expect him to live here. The scenery here is so beautiful. Xiao Qin looked at the mountain in front of him and said sincerely, There's also a tent. Little Yi, are we here for a rendezvous? Rendezvous your head, you idiot. Yi Xiaoya was so angry that she was stunned. She glared at Xiao Chen and said, "Why are you following us? Who told you to come?" Since they were already here, there was no way out. Yi Xiaoya simply stopped pretending and loudly scolded Xiao Chen. "Haha, you want to be a pair of ill-fated mandarin ducks? I'll fulfill your wish." And Dao Ma suddenly sneered. He suddenly stretched out his hand and a wind blade streaked across, hitting Yi Xiaoya's thigh. Yi Xiaoya screamed as the nightgown on her thigh was cut open. Blood instantly appeared on her thigh and blood flowed out. Xiao Chen was shocked. He didn't expect Dao Ma to attack just like that. He regretted that he didn't take good care of Yi Xiaoya. However, he also blamed Yi Xiaoya. Why didn't she dodge? And Dao Ma's move just now didn't use any strength at all. It was just a casual move. It seemed that he wanted to torture Yi Xiaoya and wouldn't use any big moves. Chapter 491. That was why Xiao Chen's attack was so ordinary that he should have been able to dodge it. However, Xiao Chen didn't know that Yi Xiaoya was angry at him, and that was why she didn't notice it. Ah! Yi Xiaoya cried out in surprise and glared at Dao Ma with clenched teeth. Hee, how is it? Does it feel good? Last year, didn't you demonic cultivators do the same to me, destroying me one move at a time? You were clearly no match for me, but you took advantage of the fact that you had more people and took advantage of my injury. Are you trying to wear me down? Fortunately, I'm lucky, but now it's your turn to taste this pain. And Dao Ma sneered and was about to attack again, but he suddenly felt a sense of danger. Dark Flame Palm. Xiao Chen used the 9th form of Dark Flame Palm toward Dao Ma's back. Xiao Chen used his raging vital energy to the extreme. Although it was the 9th form of Dark Flame Palm and he was only a cultivator at the peak of the 8th layer, the power of this move was equivalent to a 10th layer inner force cultivator. And Dao Ma turned pale with fright. Motherf *Ker, this kid is pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. He's AF * King 10th layer inner force cultivator. No wonder he dared to follow without fear. No wonder he was puzzled. Why would a demonic cultivator from a large sect like Yi Xiaoya find an ordinary person as her boyfriend? But now it seemed that he had been fooled from beginning to end. He couldn't care less about Yi Xiaoya anymore. He suddenly turned around and met Xiao Chen's palm wind with a wind blade. This wind blade was also used to the extreme, displaying the power of a first-layer martial master to the extreme. Fortunately, he had already broken through to the martial master realm. Otherwise, if he was still at the peak of the 10th layer inner force, it would be hard to say who would be the winner. This kid's strength was obviously fierce, even fiercer than an ordinary 10th layer inner force cultivator. Boom! Xiao Chen's Dark Flame Palm collided with Dao Ma's wind blade, causing a huge explosion. Although Dao Ma successfully blocked Xiao Chen's Dark Flame Palm, he was still knocked back a few steps by the recoil and spat out a mouthful of blood. Fierce. The strength was too fierce. If he wasn't a demonic cultivator who could use wind blades, he would have suffered internal injuries if he had fought with Xiao Chen head-on. He really didn't understand how this young man named Xiao Chen could be so powerful, even though his level was higher than his. Xiao Chen didn't have an advantage either. The wind blade smashed into his palm and cut it, causing his palm to bleed. However, most of the force had been offset by the Dark Flame Palm, so Chen only suffered external injuries. He's a martial master. Xiao Chen could sense that this person was even more powerful than Shen Hongjian. Yi Xiaoya was really a weirdo. She actually provoked such a powerful enemy. Of Xiao Chen didn't expect that Chen. He wasn't Xiao Chen's strength. She didn't expect that not only was Xiao Chen not the good-for-nothing in her impression, but he was also a martial artist at the 10th stage of inner force. He could even fight with Dao Ma, who was a martial master, and not lose. Wasn't this too powerful? And he could actually use the Dark Flame Palm perfectly? Did she teach him that? This bastard he could cultivate, but he kept lying to her. Was it fun to lie to her? Yi Xiaoya was a little depressed. It turned out that the strongest person in this villa was Xiao Chen, not her Yi Xiaoya. No wonder he dared to follow her. But an inner force practitioner at the 10th stage was indeed very powerful. Among the younger generation of the sect, that was a top-notch existence. However, Dao Ma was a martial master and he had successfully advanced to that level. Was Xiao Chen still a match for him? Dark Flame Palm. Xiao Chen used the Dark Flame Palm again and attacked Dao Ma, not giving him any time to catch his breath. However, Dao Ma was a martial master after all. After spitting out 2 mouthfuls of blood, he adjusted his breathing for a bit before opening and closing his hands. A ball of air condensed and was about to smash towards Xiao Chen. Humph. Xiao Qin snorted coldly. He suddenly waved his left hand, which hadn't made a move yet. A fireball fell from the sky and smashed toward Endalma. F***ck. Endalma had been paying attention to Xiao Qian's dark flame palm. He didn't expect it to be a feint and that there would be a big move behind it. Seeing a big fireball falling from the sky, he had no choice but to throw the ball of air he had condensed to hit Xiao Qin above his head to block the fireball. Boom! The fireball was blown into pieces by the exploding ball of air. However, a few flames still hit Endalma's head. This was something similar to the Samadhi true fire. The part of Endalma's head that was hit by the flames was instantly burned to a crisp, leaving only his white skull exposed. Although it wasn't fatal, it made him feel unbearable pain. What were these flames made of? What kind of martial arts technique was this? Wasn't it too strong? However, the stronger one was yet to come. What he didn't expect was that Xiao Qian's dark flame palm wasn't a feint at all. It was a real move. Boom. The solid palm print landed on Endalma's chest. Endalma instantly flew backward with a howl. His sternum caved in and he spat out blood again and again. He couldn't be blamed for being careless. Normally, even martial masters could only use one kind of martial arts technique at the same time. He had never heard of anyone who could use two kinds of martial arts techniques at the same time. Therefore, in his opinion, since Xiao Qin had used the big fireball martial arts technique, that dark flame palm was just a feint. It was just an action. How could he have known that it was also a real move? This caught him off guard and he was directly hit. Little did he know that Xiao Qian's big fireball wasn't a martial arts technique at all. It was just a fireball technique that was directly transformed from vital qi. It couldn't be considered as activating a martial arts technique at the same time, so he was tragically hit. With a whoosh, a super large fireball was once again thrown out from Xiao Qian's hand and smashed toward Endalma, who had fallen to the ground. Endalma had just landed on the ground when he saw the big fireball coming right after him. He didn't even have time to get up before the fireball smashed into his body and instantly enveloped him. Amidst a series of howls, Endalma was directly burned into a charred corpse. As for Xiao Qin, when he saw that Endalma had been burned to death, he heaved a sigh of relief. His whole body fell to the ground with a thud. He didn't dare to slack off in the slightest when dealing with a martial master-level expert, so he had been going all out. Activating the dark flame palm's 9th move twice in a row, coupled with 2 full-strength fireballs, had completely exhausted the vital qi in his body. He had only been relying on his willpower to hold on just now. Seeing that Endalma had died and was fine, he also fainted. All of this actually happened in the blink of an eye. Before Yi Xiaoya could intervene, the battle had already ended. Yi Xiaoya looked at Xiao Qin, who had fallen to the ground in horror. Is this for real? Endalma was killed by Xiao Qin? Isn't this too inconceivable? Xiao Qin is actually so strong? What kind of martial arts technique is this? It can even burn a martial master to death? However, Yi Xiaoya suddenly remembered that Xiao Qin was still lying on the ground. She hurriedly endured the pain in her leg, ran over, and felt for Xiao Qian's breath. When she found that Xiao Qin was still breathing, she immediately heaved a sigh of relief. She didn't know that Xiao Qin was physically exhausted. She thought that Xiao Qin had been injured when fighting with Endalma, so she didn't dare to be negligent. She hurriedly carried Xiao Qin on her back and staggered to the tent not far away. Her leg was injured, so she obviously couldn't run too far with Xiao Qin, so she had to find a place to stay first. As for Endalma, she took a look and realized that he had been burned beyond recognition. He was almost turned to ashes and no one could tell that he was dead. So she didn't bother with him. This tent was indeed where Endalma lived. There were some of his clothes and some food. Yi Xiaoya put Xiao Qin down first, then quickly rummaged through the tent. Because the tent was relatively small, she couldn't stand up, so Yi Xiaoya could only kneel on the ground and half lie on the ground. She used the moonlight to search for the things Endalma left behind. Although Endalma was a demonic cultivator, he definitely had some healing medicine. Anyone who practiced martial arts would have these things on them. It was just that Endalma's things were rather complicated, so Yi Xiaoya couldn't find them immediately. She could only search carefully. However, as Yi Xiaoya was searching, she suddenly shivered. She felt like someone was staring at her. She subconsciously turned around and saw that Xiao Qin, who was lying behind her, had already opened his eyes. And the place he was staring at was actually between her legs. Yi Xiaoya suddenly thought of something. She had just finished dual cultivation with the white fox and hadn't had time to put on her clothes before Endalma came. She could only put on a nightgown to cover herself. However, when she lay down, her nightgown was cut by Endalma's wind blade, so the lower half of her body was exposed. Does it look good? Yi Xiaoya asked coldly. Pretty good, Xiao Qin said subconsciously. He had just woken up, so he was still a little dazed. He had overexerted his strength and fainted. However, he was worried that Endowma wasn't completely dead, so he quickly woke up after self-healing. As a result, when he opened his eyes, he saw such a scene. Is that so? Yi Xiaoya didn't expect Xiao Qin to say that. She was so angry that she directly kicked back and kicked Xiao Qin's face. Xiao Qin let out a scream and fainted again. He had already barely woken up, but Yi Xiaoya's kick made him fall into a coma again. Xiao Qin. Yi Xiaoya was shocked. She had only reacted subconsciously. She didn't expect Xiao Qin to be so weak that he fainted with just one kick. Yi Xiaoya quickly turned around and was a little speechless when she saw Xiao Qin with a big footprint on his face. She checked his breathing and found that it was normal. Only then did she heave a sigh of relief. He might have just fainted. However, Yi Xiaoya was also a little annoyed. This guy, he had seen it all. Couldn't he just comfort her and say that he didn't see anything? Then wouldn't this matter be over and neither of us would be embarrassed? But what did you mean by pretty good? Did you see it? Do you want to continue looking? Chapter 492. Looking at the unconscious Xiao Qin, Yi Xiaoya was actually grateful to him. If it weren't for him today, she would definitely be dead. Moreover, she was careless just now. That way. Facing Xiao Qin and being seen by him, she couldn't blame him. However, Yi Xiaoya was a little conflicted. She was a candidate for the holy maiden of the demon sect. She should be pure and clean. Now her body was seen by two men. Sigh. Yi Xiaoya sighed. However, Yi Xiaoya couldn't kill these two people. Yi Xiaoya also benefited a lot from dual cultivation with White Fox, and he was her partner. As for Xiao Qin, she couldn't kill him. Not only did he save her, but he also had his identity. In fact, if it was only White Fox, Yi Xiaoya could barely accept it. If she couldn't become the holy maiden of the demon sect in the future, then she would continue to be with White Fox. But Xiao Qin. She lived in the same villa with him. How could they meet in the future? Yi Xiaoya sat on the spot and looked at Xiao Qin with some depression. She complained in her heart that he didn't know how to lie. After a while, Xiao Qin woke up again. He subconsciously didn't dare to open his eyes. However, through the gap between his eyes, he saw Yi Xiaoya sitting on the side. He couldn't help but be a little puzzled. He called out, Yi Xiaoya? You're awake? Yi Xiaoya saw that Xiao Qin woke up so quickly. She thought that this guy's physical fitness was really good. I didn't mean to look just now. Xiao Qin said, I saw it as soon as I opened my eyes. You still say it? Can't you not say it? Yi Xiaoya was a little annoyed. After returning to the villa, don't mention it again. Let me see it. It's not the first time I saw it. Xiao Qin smiled bitterly. His strength had been exposed. Some things should be told the truth. What do you mean? You've peeped on me before? Yi Xiaoya was stunned for a moment, then continued to ask, Oh right, why are you so strong? Then why are you still pretending to be useless? You're actually at stage 10 inner force? And it can even kill martial masters? Huh. You've asked so many questions, which one should I answer first? Xiao Qin said, Actually, all of this is the same problem. I've never peeped on you. The two of us dual cultivate every day. Why would I need to peep? Dual cultivation every day? Yi Xiaoya was slightly taken aback. She looked at Xiao Qin in disbelief. Her face revealed an incomparably shocked expression. She widened her eyes and looked at Xiao Qin. Xiao Qin was a little scared by Yi Xiaoya's stare. He couldn't help but say, Little Yi, you, Xiao Qin, you are a white fox? Yi Xiaoya asked in disbelief. Yes, I am. Xiao Qin nodded. Then why didn't you say so earlier? Yi Xiaoya directly extended her leg and kicked Xiao Qin again, this time on his face. However, this time Xiao Qin didn't faint. Moreover, he saw something he shouldn't have seen. You keep showing me? Is this really okay? Xiao Qin's breathing was slightly hurried. Yi Xiaoya retracted her leg and glared at Xiao Qin. Hey, then why do you keep lying to me? Why didn't you say so earlier? Is there any point in lying to me? To think that I always thought you were useless. I even said so many encouraging words to you. Did you take it as a joke? Of course not. Xiao Qin quickly shook his head and solemnly looked at Yi Xiaoya and said, Actually, I have always been very grateful to you. As a warrior, you still said so much to a useless person like me. Moreover, you even shared your sect's martial skills and mental cultivation method with me. I feel that you are a very good person. However, I am also a little puzzled. Why are you so good to me? Don't tell me that you like me? Go to hell. Yi Xiaoye glared at Xiao Qin. Even if I like the white fox, I won't like you. But I am the white fox. Xiao Qin said innocently. You still haven't answered my question. Why didn't you say so earlier? Yi Xiaoye was a little annoyed as she looked at Xiao Qin angrily. It's not that I don't want to say it, but I can't let people know that I have strength. If someone wants to deal with me, I have to secretly investigate, so I can only hide my strength. Not only you but also Minjing doesn't know. Xiao Qin said, the white fox can be said to be another identity of mine. If it wasn't because of my close relationship with you, I would not have confessed. Oh? Even Minjing doesn't know? Yi Xiaoye felt a little better after listening, but she thought of an important question. Does Xin Jingxian know? She knows. Xiao Qin nodded, but it's different. She's my girlfriend. That is to say, I am the first to know besides her? Yi Xiaoye asked. Not really. And Tang she. Xiao Qin hesitated and said. Oh, I heard about it. Yi Xiaoye didn't have any special expression. She just said, then why didn't you tell me since you have been my partner for so long? I feel that our relationship, although not intimate, is also a friend of life and death, right? Besides, we double cultivate together every day. Our relationship is just a little worse than your girlfriend, right? I did recognize you when I did the first task, but at that time, my relationship with you was not very good. We were just roommates and task partners, so I didn't tell you, Xiao Qin said. Yi Xiaoye could understand why Xiao Qin said that. After all, if the two of them weren't familiar with each other, Xiao Qin wouldn't have opened his heart to her. After all, the cultivation world was filled with danger. It was full of deceit and deception. If one wasn't careful, they could be framed. What happened later? Why didn't you tell me later? Yi Xiaoye asked. Later. As we became familiar with each other, it was not easy for me to tell you. If I told you, you would think that I lied to you. Xiao Qin said, especially the two of us. After the summit, we began to double cultivate and our relationship was much closer. If I told you, would you feel that living with me was a strange feeling? Strange? No wonder you came in through my bedroom door every night without being discovered by others. It turned out to be like this. Yi Xiaoye snorted, I feel strange now. If I knew you were White Fox, Yi Xiaoye didn't know what she was going to do. What if she knew? She felt a little better in her heart. If two men saw her body, it would be a strange feeling. Now it was just Xiao Qin and he was White Fox. Yi Xiaoye was relieved. However, her relationship with Xiao Qin was unclear. Although Xiao Qin was not an outsider, Yi Xiaoye had a marriage contract with the Devil Gate. So what if I knew? Aren't we still going to double cultivate? Xiao Qin said, how's your wound? Is it serious? Why not? It hurts so much. I forgot to look for injury medicine when I was talking to you. As Yi Xiaoye spoke, she was about to look for injury medicine. She lay down and turned around. She didn't care if Xiao Qin could see anything. Anyway, White Fox had seen it several times before. She was a little numb. She often saw White Fox naked, so she didn't feel uncomfortable in her heart. However, she didn't expect that Xiao Qin. Actually, he reached out and touched her thigh. Xiao Qin, what are you doing? Yi Xiaoye was shocked. She turned around and glared at Xiao Qin. Even if she had double cultivated with him, she couldn't take it too far, right? Previously, White Fox was a very serious person. Could it be that Xiao Qin was the real nature? Don't move. You don't have to look for it. I will heal you. As Xiao Qin spoke, he circulated the mantra and began to heal Yi Xiaoye. Although there was a big wound on Yi Xiaoye's leg, it was just a superficial wound. It was really painful, but it wasn't serious. Xiao Qin easily healed the injury. Healing? Yi Xiaoye suddenly blushed. She thought that Xiao Qin wanted to take advantage of her. Okay, done? Xiao Qin let go of Yi Xiaoye's thigh and clapped his hands. Is it easy to touch? Yi Xiaoye asked. Not bad. Xiao Qin smiled. I will kill you, Yi Xiaoye said angrily. That's not easy to touch, okay? Xiao Qin was speechless. How dare you? Yi Xiaoye wanted to kick Xiao Qin again, but after thinking about it, she was really free, so she gave up. However, when she thought about her inappropriate relationship with Xiao Qin, Yi Xiaoye felt that she no longer wanted to be the demon sect's saintess. In the past, she felt that the demon sect's saintess was very glorious. If she was chosen, she could command the demon sect. But now that she thought about it, marrying someone she didn't know was meaningless. By the way, Xiao Qin, you said that you saw me and even touched me. Are you going to take responsibility? Yi Xiaoye asked. Take responsibility? Xiao Qin was stunned. Stop fooling around. Little Yi, aren't you the demon sect saintess? How can I take responsibility? If I take responsibility, won't your sect hunt me down? Can't you just run for the demon sect leader? Yi Xiaoya said, at that time, you will be the demon sect leader and I will be the demon sect saintess. This way we can continue to be partners and we can even dual cultivate. Isn't that good? Seems not bad. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. But is it so easy to become the demon sect leader? I'm not a candidate, nor am I a member of the demon sect. How can I choose? When the time comes, there will be a demon sect conference. You just need to register. Yi Xiaoya said, you should register through the Devil Star sect. Sweat, don't tell me you've fallen for me? Xiao Chen thought about it. This Mormon sect leader seemed to be quite fun. If he had the strength, it wouldn't be bad to give it a try. I just feel that since I'm close to you, I don't want to have anything to do with others. I'm quite good with you. I like this kind of life. Yi Xiaoya said, however, don't think that I like you. I just feel that the two of us are quite compatible and suitable to be comrades. Okay. Xiao Chen thought for a moment and said, when the time comes, if you don't want to be that saintess, I'll run for the sect leader. This was probably a matter for a long time. He was already a cultivator at the 9th level of the Qi refinement stage. At that time, his strength would definitely be higher. There was still hope for him to compete for the demon sect leader. Chapter 493. Okay, it's a deal. Yi Xiaoya listened to Xiao Chen's guarantee and was a little happy. And? Xiao Chen nodded. Actually, I also cherish our friendship. You are my first combat partner and also a dual cultivation partner. Yi Xiaoya thought that the combat partner wasn't bad, but the dual cultivation partner. Why does it sound like we are friends with benefits? You also know this? Xiao Chen was stunned. Nonsense, I'm not a fool, said Yi Xiaoya. My physical strength was a little overdrawn before. Why don't we dual cultivate again? Asked Xiao Chen. Now? Yi Xiaoya was a little hesitant. Isn't it too bright here? Can't we just cover the tent? Xiao Chen said, besides, it's not like I haven't seen it before. I've seen the bottom but not the top. Yi Xiaoya glared at Xiao Chen. I've seen it too. Xiao Chen said weakly. Get lost. Yi Xiaoya closed the tent and began to take off her clothes. Xiao Chen also began to take off his clothes and then, the two of them began to dual cultivate palm to palm. With the help of Yi Xiaoya, Xiao Chen's progress was very fast. Soon, Xiao Chen's physical strength recovered, and Yi Xiaoya also gained a lot of benefits. When the two of them put on their clothes and left the tent, the sky was already bright. Let's go back. Xiao Chen said, I still have to prepare breakfast for you. Feels weird. You're a martial artist at the 10th level of inner force. You're actually preparing breakfast for us. Right, when did you reach the 10th level of inner force? Moreover, you seem to be at the peak of great perfection? Otherwise, how can you kill a martial artist? Asked Yi Xiaoya curiously. A while ago, I advanced in the Shin family, said Xiao Chen. How did you advance so quickly? Teach me, I want to level up too. Yi Xiaoya said enviously. You can't learn this. Xiao Chen coughed twice and said with a red face. Can't learn it? What? Do you think I don't know how to do it if you teach me? Yi Xiaoya was a little unwilling. She thought that Xiao Chen was hiding something. Actually, it's like this. Jingshen and I are a step further in dual cultivation. You know what I mean, Xiao Chen said. Advance further? Then let's take another step. Yi Xiaoya suddenly turned to look at Xiao Chen. Did you and Jingshen do that? And? Xiao Chen didn't hide it. Oh. Yi Xiaoya nodded. Can I level up faster that way? Yeah, do you want to try? Xiao Chen smirked. Oh. Yi Xiaoya shook her head decisively. Xiao Chen smiled. The two returned to the villa. Xiao Chen first looked at the flower garden and found that the seeds had already sprouted. This made Xiao Chen a little happy. Yi Xiaoya naturally saw it too. She was very surprised. You are the one who can cultivate seeds. Why are you using my devil centipede fruit? Decocting medicine. Xiao Chen said, you use medicinal herbs to help you level up. I need to use them too. Didn't I borrow your electric clay pot for decocting medicine? I see. Yi Xiaoya nodded. She didn't ask about Xiao Chen's prescription. After all, every martial artist's prescription might be different. Martial artists had different physiques, so there would be some differences. Moreover, these medicinal herbs were mainly auxiliary. However, Yi Xiaoya's prescription was rather unique. Her prescription had a special origin and was very beneficial for cultivation. Therefore she didn't covet Xiao Chen's prescription. Look, haven't these medicinal herbs sprouted? Xiao Chen said with a smile. Yeah, I didn't expect that. However, you really can cultivate medicinal herbs out of season. When you are short of money, you can cultivate some medicinal herbs. That way you will make a lot of money, Yi Xiaoya said. Forget it. I don't have the time. Xiao Chen shook his head. After looking at the medicinal herbs, he walked into the villa with Yi Xiaoya. At that moment, Cheng Minjing and Jin Beibei came downstairs yawning. When they saw Yi Xiaoya and Xiao Chen coming in, they were a little surprised, especially when they saw Yi Xiaoya dressed so skimpily. Xiao Chen, you. Cheng Minjing looked at Yi Xiaoya strangely. Yi Xiaoya hung the curtain and fell from upstairs. Her legs were scratched, Xiao Chen said. Ah. Cheng Minjing looked at Yi Xiaoya in surprise. As expected, the nightgown on her legs was torn, and there were many bloodstains on it. She fell from upstairs? Then why didn't she fall to her death? Jin Beibei asked curiously. She fell on Xiao Chen. Of course she didn't die. Yi Xiaoya snorted and went upstairs. Oh. Jin Beibei didn't say anything. She looked at Yi Xiaoya, who went upstairs and suddenly found that her lower body was unbuttoned. She glanced at Xiao Chen in surprise but didn't ask anything. Xiao Chen made breakfast quickly. Yi Xiaoya had already put on her clothes and went downstairs. After breakfast, Xiao Chen drove eldest Miss and Jin Beibei to school. In the Xie family, Xie Chen was tied to a tiger stool. Emperor Xie had just beaten him, but Xie Chen slapped him again. Then he asked fiercely, "Tell me, what else did you do? Tell me everything. Don't leave anything out." At that moment, Xie Chen had already told Emperor Xie that he had secretly stirred up trouble and sent emails to Xin Zhenghao and Chen Huanling. The reason why he got involved in the Sun family's business was that he hated Xiao Chen and wanted to get a share of the profits. However, he and the Sun family were finished before he got the money. What else? Tell me. Emperor Xie asked fiercely. Well, and Xie Chen racked his brains thinking about the bad things he had done recently. However, he had said everything that should be said. It seemed that he didn't miss anything. Keep thinking. What other troubles did you cause for our Xie family? Emperor Xie shouted. Also, we seem to have offended Yang Jianan from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, the leader of Team C. The situation was like this. After thinking about it, Xie Chen could only think of this incident. He told Yang Jianan about what happened that day in the private room with Medicine Master's son and the two fake Japanese businessmen. He said that they kidnapped a female student, but Yang Jianan rushed in and rescued her. What? You also offended the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Emperor Xie was furious. The Xie family needed the Supernatural Investigation Bureau to be promoted to an aristocratic family in the future. However, Xie Chen offended the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Thinking of this, Emperor Xie broke into a cold sweat. He was ready to remedy the situation. He thought about it and prepared to apologize to Yang Jianan. Yang Jianan might not care about this matter, but the Xie family couldn't pretend that nothing happened. What if Yang Jianan cared? Emperor Xie couldn't care less about Xie Chen. He quickly left the room and asked someone to prepare a generous gift. As for Yang Jianan's whereabouts, he had heard about it recently. Yang Jianan was studying in Songning Second High School. His current identity was a student. Although he didn't know the purpose of Yang Jianan's actions, he thought that Yang Jianan was on a mission. Of course, Emperor Xie didn't know about the conflict between Yang Jianan and White Fox. If he knew, he would definitely make a choice instead of trying to please both sides. After preparing a generous gift, Emperor Xie quickly drove to Songning Second High School. He waited at the school gate for a while. When he saw Yang Jianan's car enter the school, he quickly followed and went to the parking lot. Yang Tan and Xia Shibin got out of the car. Emperor Xie also quickly got out of the car and walked over. Yang Jianan naturally knew who Emperor Xie was. Although the Xie family wasn't an aristocratic family, the Xie family was now in the limelight. As the leader of the management group C of the secular world's aristocratic families, how could Yang Tan not know him? Isn't this young Master Xie Huang? May I know what you are here for? Xia Shibin saw Emperor Xie walking over and couldn't help but ask. Leader Yang, Mr. Xia, I wonder if you two have time? Get in my car and let me apologize to Team Leader Yang. Xie Huang cautiously gestured for him to get in. Oh, apologize. What do you mean? Yang Tan was stunned and didn't understand. Let's talk in the car. Emperor Xie thought that Yang Jianan was deliberately doing this. He naturally had to explain. Okay. Yang Tan was also a little puzzled. He nodded and took Xia Shibin to Emperor Xie's car. He wanted to see what he was going to do. After getting in the car, Emperor Xie said, "Leader Yang, I'm really sorry about what happened that day. Xie Qin said that you entered the private room and took someone away. They didn't know that it was your people." "Wait, what are you talking about?" Yang Tan waved his hand and interrupted Emperor Xie's words. He asked, "What do you mean I entered the private room? Who did I take away?" "Oh, it's Kerlin." Emperor Xie said, "At that time, didn't you go to the private room of the nightclub and take Kerlin away?" At that time, Xie Qin, Medicine Master's son, and others were in the private room. "Me? Take Kerlin away?" Yang Tan turned his head and looked at Xia Shibin inexplicably. "When did this happen? Also, who is Kerlin? Have I seen her before?" "Kerlin." Xia Shibin's heart suddenly moved, but on the surface he looked at Emperor Xie calmly and said, "Which nightclub and which private room are you talking about? What exactly happened? Tell me the details." "Cherry Blossom Never Sleeps City?" Emperor Xie was also a little puzzled, but he thought that Yang Jianan didn't want to admit it, so he said truthfully, "It's the 308 private room. The situation at the time was like this." "Are you sure that person was me?" Yang Tan also found that something was wrong. This Emperor Xie said it so confidently as if there was really such a thing. Could it be that someone pretended to be me? "Yeah." Xie Qin said it. Emperor Xie nodded. "Xia Shibin, go to Cherry Blossom Never Sleep City now and get me the surveillance video of that day. I want the one in the private room corridor and then show it to me." Yang Tan ordered, "Go now." Yes. Xia Shibin was best at doing this kind of thing. He nodded, got out of the car directly, and drove away. Chapter 494. In the car, Xie Huang looked at Yang Tan inexplicably. He now realized that things weren't so simple. Could it be that Xie Qin was lying? However, he shouldn't be lying. After all, there was no need in significance. "You wait first. Wait for Xia Shibin to come back." Yang Tan waved his hand and gestured to Xie Huang to wait. "Okay." Xie Huang had no choice but to agree. In fact, in Xia Shibin's heart, he had already roughly guessed some things. He was now going to Cherry Blossom Nightless City to check the surveillance video. In fact, he also wanted to confirm his guesses and ideas. When he arrived at Cherry Blossom Nightless City, Xia Shibin didn't have to spend much effort at all. He directly found the boss and showed his ID. The boss directly cooperated with him to get the surveillance video. In fact, Xia Shibin still had a police identity. Although the boss didn't know about the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, he had to cooperate with the police in handling the case. After getting the video, Xia Shibin took a look at the person on the screen and suddenly understood. Sure enough, his guess was right. The person who pretended to be Yang Tan was Xiao Qin. That day, at the entrance of the nightclub, Xia Shibin had been following Xiao Qin and took photos of him. On that day, the person who Xiao Qin saw taking photos was Xia Shibin. Looking at the familiar clothes on the surveillance screen, watching Xiao Qin walk out of the private room and carry Kerlin downstairs, Xia Shibin no longer had any doubts. He quickly took the video and returned to Songning Second High School. In the car, Xia Shibin didn't say much. He just nodded to Yang Tan and gave him a look. Yang Tan and Xia Shibin had worked together for many years, so he naturally knew what Xia Shibin meant. So he coughed twice and said to Xie Huang, "Forget it. It's nothing much. You can go. Your Xie family may have helped me this time. I will remember you. If there are any good things in the future, I won't forget you." Okay. Thank you, Team Leader Yang." Although Xie Huang didn't understand what had happened, he didn't dare to ask much. He respectfully sent the two people off the car and watched them return to their car before Xie Huang drove away. When they returned to Yang Tan's car, Yang Tan asked, "What happened?" "It's Xiao Qin." Xia Shibin said, "It was Xiao Qin who pretended to be you. His other identity was actually you, and he even deceived Xie Chen and Sun Yaoshe. It shows that his imitation is very good, or at least it's not easy to find any flaws. Leader, this Xiao Chen is a scourge. We can't let him live. And I didn't have a chance to touch him before. Now, I can use the fact that he pretended to be me to investigate him and take him away." Yang Tan nodded. "Is there any evidence?" "No." Xia Shibin said with a bitter face, "Xiao Chen is very sly. In the private room he pretended to be you, team leader. When he left the private room, he changed back to his original appearance. In the end, in the video, it was Xiao Qin himself. He didn't pretend to be you. In fact, what Xia Shibin didn't know was that Xiao Qin used illusion. It was just that illusion was effective on people, but it had no effect on machines. In the video, it was naturally Xiao Qin. It couldn't be Yang Tan. "I see." Yang Tan frowned. Without absolute evidence, he really couldn't do anything to ordinary people. This was really a bit difficult. Team leader, we can slowly find the evidence. Since we already know that Xiao Qin can pretend to be you, then he will definitely expose some flaws. We just have to pay more attention. Xia Shibin said, although I followed him before and didn't find anything, if I didn't follow him, how could I suddenly think of Xiao Chen when Xia Huang spoke? Yes, then let's continue to collect evidence. Yang Tan nodded. However, I think I should talk to Song Huawu. Yang Tan and Xia Shibin came to the classroom, but they didn't talk much. Instead, they returned to their seats. Class was about to start, and Yang Tan also had to think about how to talk to Song Huawu. Song Huawu and Xiao Chen had been sitting at the same table for a long time, and it seemed that the relationship between the two people wasn't bad. Maybe Song Huawu knew something. Xiao Chen still didn't know that Xia Huang had done something bad out of good intentions. He didn't expect Xia Chen to talk about Kerlin in the private room. He still came to the classroom as usual. Because of yesterday's basketball game, Xiao Chen's popularity was very high. The students in the class looked at Xiao Chen with some admiration. Yesterday, Xiao Chen won honor for number 2 middle school and grade 12 class 1. Any student with a sense of collective honor would feel that the basketball game in grade 12 was very meaningful. After some time, when they talked about the basketball game with their friends again, they would feel very proud because their class had crushed number 1 high school with an absolute advantage. The basketball star is here? Song Huawu looked at Xiao Chen and smiled. Are you also making fun of me? Xiao Chen was stunned for a moment, then immediately smiled and said, I really didn't expect that Yang Tan actually didn't do anything to me yesterday. At least he has a little sense of honor. No matter how stupid he is, it's impossible for him to destroy his own class. That makes me hate him even more. Song Huawu shrugged. But it's better if you don't provoke him. First, his own strength is there. Second, he is the leader of Team C of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. This identity is not to be underestimated within the Bureau. If he doesn't provoke me, I can't be bothered to pay attention to him. After the battle with Endaoma, Xiao Chen finally recognized the absolute advantage of cultivators. No wonder Elder Heaven Ancestor said that cultivators were a dazzling existence. Sure enough, when facing Yang Tan now, Xiao Chen could kill him in minutes. Even if he was at the peak of the 10th level of inner force, it would be nothing. By the way, haven't you completed your mission? Why are you still in Songning City? No, I heard that an ancient cultivation relic was found nearby. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau wants to see if we can get a share. Song Huawu said. You guys are interested in this too? Xiao Chen was stunned. He didn't expect Song Huawu to know about this. Moreover, she stayed here for this matter. Why wouldn't you like it? Song Huawu asked. You don't know that the Supernatural Investigation Bureau is also very poor. There is a shortage of cultivation resources. Only those with backing and background can get them. Otherwise, why do you think my strength is so low? But isn't Yang Tan's strength good? Xiao Chen asked curiously. He has backing. Song Huawu shook her head. I don't have backing. I can only rely on myself to carry out missions in exchange for contribution points to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau and then obtain cultivation resources. And this time, if I can get the cultivation resources from the ancient relic, half of them will belong to me. Oh. Xiao Chen nodded, but he didn't say that he would go too. Will Yang Tan go? Who knows? I don't think he will take this risk. He has a big backing in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. He doesn't need to count on these resources. Song Huawu said, but it's hard to say. Maybe he will bother me. Okay. Xiao Chen nodded. Soon the bell rang. Miss Wang walked into the classroom. She first praised the basketball game yesterday before the class began. After the class, Xiao Chen went to the toilet. Yang Tan, who was already prepared, quickly came to Song Huawu's side and sat beside her. Song Huawu frowned slightly. She felt a little disgusted, but she still asked as usual, Team Leader Yang, why are you looking for me? Is there a new mission from the organization? Song Huawu, I am now formally questioning you on behalf of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team C. As soon as Yang Tan spoke, he stood on the side of his identity. This way, Song Huawu would have to think twice if she wanted to lie. Song Huawu was slightly stunned. She then nodded and said seriously, Okay, Team Leader Yang, please speak. Song Huawu, you have been sitting at the same table with Xiao Chen for a long time, right? Asked Yang Tan. Not bad. Why do you ask? Song Huawu was a little puzzled. If that's the case, do you know Xiao Chen's other identity? Yang Tan suddenly asked. Another identity? What identity? Song Huawu was shocked. Her face changed slightly, but she still asked calmly, "Isn't his other identity the young master who was chased out of the Xiao family?" "What's wrong?" "Young master?" Yang Tan sneered. "I mean, you don't know the person he is pretending to be?" "Pretending? What do you mean?" Song Huawu was a little shocked. Did Yang Tan discover that Xiao Qin is White Fox? How did he find out? But, is he going to deal with Xiao Qin? But on the surface, Song Huawu naturally couldn't admit it. She just said vaguely, "What other identity does he have?" "What other identity? You sit at the same table with him every day. Don't you know his other identity?" Yang Tan's meaning was actually very obvious. He was alluding to the matter of Xiao Qin pretending to be him, but it wasn't convenient for him to say it out loud. He wanted Song Huawu to say it. After all, as long as Song Huawu agreed with him, he could take action against Xiao Qin and forcefully arrest him for investigation. Pretending to be a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was a serious crime for a martial artist. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau would definitely not let it go. Therefore, Yang Tan wanted Song Huawu to admit it instead of him saying it. If he said it, Song Huawu would deny it. He really didn't have any evidence to prove it. But if Song Huawu said it, it would be evidence. "Team Leader Yang, I don't quite understand what you mean." Although Song Huawu pretended to be indifferent, her voice was obviously a little off. "What do you mean? What identity? Why don't I understand? Do I know everything just because I'm at the same table with him?" "Oh? Class is starting. Let's talk about it later." Yang Tan held the back of the chair and stood up. He could be said to know Song Huawu very well. Looking at Song Huawu's expression, he knew that there must be something wrong. She definitely knew what it was, but she didn't point it out. She just turned around and left quickly. Chapter 495. After class, Xiao Qin returned to the classroom and happened to see Yang Tan leaving. He asked unhappily, "Yang Tan is here again? Isn't he done?" "Xiao Qin, sit down first. I have something important to tell you." Song Huawu ignored Xiao Qin's words and whispered to him solemnly. "What's the matter?" Xiao Qin was slightly stunned. He sat down and looked at Song Huawu. "Xiao Qin, your identity as the White Fox seems to have been exposed." Song Huawu reminded him softly. "What? Exposed? Who found out?" Xiao Qin was shocked. "Just now, Yang Tan came to me and said some inexplicable things to me. However, it was basically a test. He asked me if I knew your other identity, a disguised identity." Song Huawu said nervously, "He must know something. Otherwise he wouldn't ask me like this." Although Xiao Qin was very surprised, he was also very puzzled. He couldn't help but feel depressed. "How did Yang Tan know?" "I haven't revealed my identity as the White Fox in front of him. And I've been very careful recently. This identity has almost never appeared outside. After returning from the Shin family, Xiao Qin only went to the Xiao family. He didn't use the identity of the White Fox. He didn't have any interaction with Yang Tan. How did this person know that he was the White Fox?" "I don't know either. Anyway, be careful," Song Huawu said. "If he knows that you are a martial artist, even if you are just a rogue cultivator, he has the right to investigate you." "I know. I will be careful. I can't admit to this. Since he came to ask you, he probably doesn't have any evidence." "Don't worry." Xiao Qin thought about it and said. At the back of the classroom, Yang Tan and Xia Shibin were eavesdropping on them with headphones. When Yang Tan got up, he secretly installed a small listening device on the back of Xiao Qin's chair. This kind of thing was simply Yang Tan's specialty. Moreover, it was very small. Others couldn't detect it at all. Originally, Yang Tan thought that Xiao Qin was just pretending to be him, but he didn't expect that Xiao Qin was actually the White Fox. This identity stunned him for a moment, and he couldn't help but laugh out loud. "I really didn't expect this. Originally, I told Song Huawu that Xiao Qin would disguise himself as Yang Tan, but I didn't expect his other identity to be the White Fox. This is really a case of wearing out iron shoes and fruitless searching, only to find it by chance without even looking for it. Yeah, Brother Yang, with this evidence in hand, we don't have to be afraid that this kid won't change seats with you. At that time, we can do whatever we want to him." Xia Shibin also nodded and said, "Change seats? Humph, just changing seats is too easy on him." Yang Tan sneered. It wasn't easy to deal with him before because he was an ordinary person. But now this White Fox has gone against my Qin family. I want him dead. Yes, Brother Yang, kill him. Xia Shibin also agreed after listening. However, it's not good for us to make a move. We need to think of a countermeasure. As Yang Tan spoke up to this point, he suddenly asked, "Oh yeah, yesterday at the basketball game, did you investigate the identity of Brother Han?" "I did. Brother Yang, this Brother Han's real name is Qin Yuhan. He is a disciple of the extreme ice sect." Xia Shibin said, "Oh yeah, this time he came to Songning City to challenge the White Fox. The White Fox said that he went out, so he stayed in Songning City to wait for the White Fox to come back." When Yang Tan heard that this Brother Han actually came to deal with the White Fox, he was suddenly overjoyed. "I originally wanted to deal with him. He actually dared to trick me yesterday, but now it seems that we can cooperate. You help me make an appointment with him. I want to talk to him." "Okay, Brother Yang," Xia Shibin said quickly. Song Huawu and Xiao Qin didn't know that their conversation had been heard by Yang Tan. After the conversation, they began to listen to the class. At noon, Xia Shibin had already brought Yang Tan's words to Qin Yuhan. Qin Yuhan didn't expect that Yang Tan, who was tricked by him on the basketball court yesterday, was actually a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. He was also the team leader of Team C. Although theoretically, Team C couldn't control the people from the sects, if the people from the sects used internal energy in the secular world, Team C could still control it. Just like the righteous and demonic summit in the secular world, Team C could also intervene. However, Qin Yuhan wasn't too afraid. After all, he was an outstanding disciple of the extreme ice sect. Even if Yang Tan wanted to deal with him, he needed to weigh the power behind him. After thinking about it, Qin Yuhan still kept the appointment at noon. He came to the hotel designated by Yang Tan, the Cherry Blossom restaurant near 2nd High School. He came to the door of a private room and knocked on the door. Xia Shibin's voice came from inside, "Please come in." Qin Yuhan pushed the door open and entered. When he saw that Yang Tan and Xia Shibin were already there, he said politely, "Both of you are here. My school is quite far away, so I rushed over after class. I'm still late." "It's all right. Young Hiro-chan, please sit." Yang Tan also said politely. "Okay, then I won't stand on ceremony." After Qin Yuhan sat down, he said, "I'm really sorry about yesterday's basketball game. I used a little trick. Here, Yuhan, I apologize to team leader Yang. How about I punish myself by drinking 3 cups later?" Yang Tan was polite, so Qin Yuhan was naturally polite. Yesterday's incident was naturally a misunderstanding. "That's easy." Yang Tan waved his hand and said, "No discord, no concord." "Yes, no discord, no concord." Qin Yuhan cupped his fist and smiled. "However, I don't know why team leader Yang is looking for me." "I heard that young Hero Qin came here to challenge White Fox," asked Yang Tan. "Yes." Qin Yuhan was just slightly stunned. With Yang Tan's identity, it wasn't difficult for him to investigate his intentions, so he simply admitted it. "But, team leader Yang, are you looking for me to stop this?" "No, it's the opposite. I'm here to facilitate this matter," Yang Tan said with a wave of his hand. "What do you mean? Facilitate?" Qin Yuhan was a little puzzled. He didn't understand what Yang Tan meant. "In other words, I actually know the true identity of White Fox. You received the news that White Fox went out, right?" asked Yang Tan. "Yes, that's right. Otherwise, I wouldn't have stayed here to wait." Qin Yuhan nodded. "In fact, White Fox has always been in Songning City, but he didn't wear a mask. Instead, he appeared as another person. However, I know who he is," Yang Tan said with a smile. "If young Hiro-chan wants to challenge him, I can help to find him." "That's great." Qin Yuhan was overjoyed after hearing it. He couldn't help but ask, "But team leader Yang, is this true? Do you really know where he is?" "Yes." Yang Tan nodded. "However, I have a condition. You can't kill him, right?" "I know this." Although Qin Yuhan had some regrets, the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was involved. He couldn't kill directly. "Of course not. It's the opposite. I want you to kill him," Yang Tan said with hatred. "Kill him?" Qin Yuhan was stunned. He looked at Yang Tan in disbelief. "To be honest, I have a grudge against him too," Yang Tan said. "I'm from the Qin family in Songning. I think young Hero Qin should have heard of it. This White Fox and the Qin family have a grudge, but it's not easy for me to kill him with my identity." "You can. Moreover, if you kill him, I can help you smooth things over. At that time, I will ask him to go to a dangerous place. If anything happens to him, you can't blame it on me. I'm just mediating as a witness, but I saw White Fox die in an accident with my own eyes." "Okay, I know what to do." After listening to Yang Tan's words, Qin Yuhan nodded quickly. This way it saved him a lot of trouble. Moreover, the Devil Star sect couldn't say anything. The people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau said that White Fox died in an accident and it wasn't caused by him. And Xia Shibin, have you found a place nearby where you can make a move? Yang Tan asked Xia Shibin, who was looking at the map on his phone. I found it. There's a Songlong mountain cliff mouth nearby. It's a good place to kill someone, said Xia Shibin. Okay, that's it. Yang Tan nodded. Young Hero Chin, when are you ready? I will ask Xiao Qin to go there. Any time is fine. Any day these 2 days is fine. Qin Yuhan said indifferently. He had been recuperating for a long time. He was just waiting for White Fox to appear. Okay, I will ask him to come and inform you. Yang Tan said, now let's eat. Xia Shibin, asked the waiter to serve the wine and dishes. Yes, brother Yang. Xia Shibin quickly stood up, left the private room and went to find the waiter to serve the dishes. At noon, Yang Tan and the others drank to their heart's content, so they slept through the afternoon class. When school ended in the evening, Yang Tan woke up. Then he stood up directly and came to Xiao Qin. He threw a letter that he had prepared previously on Xiao Qin's table and said, Xiao Qin, this is for you. For me? Xiao Qin was stunned. He thought it was a love letter from Yang Tan to Song Huawu. He was about to throw it away. He didn't expect it to be for him. Xiao Qin tore the envelope directly, took out the letter inside and read it. White Fox, I know it's you. Tomorrow night I will wait for you at the Songlong mountain cliff mouth. I have something to talk to you about. Of course you can also not come. I will apply to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau to take coercive measures against you because you have lost the chance to defend yourself. You don't have to doubt me. I have evidence. Look at the back of your chair and you will know. There was no signature on the letter, but there was no need to sign it. After Xiao Qin read it, his heart was shocked. Song Huawu, who was on the side, saw Xiao Qin's expression change slightly. She couldn't help but ask, what's wrong? What did Yang Tan give you? Take a look yourself. Xiao Qin handed the letter directly to Song Huawu. Then he turned around and looked at the back of the chair. However, his face became extremely ugly when he saw it. Chapter 496. It turned out to be a listening device. Xiao Qin wasn't good at these things. Even if he was a cultivator and his six senses were extremely sharp, it was impossible to guard against this kind of special agent monitoring equipment. The power of technology was too powerful. Martial artists couldn't do anything about these things. These things were dead objects. His six senses were useless against them. He couldn't sense them. Moreover, Yang Tan's disguise was very hidden. If he didn't deliberately look for it, he wouldn't be able to find it at all. On Song Huawu's side, she also finished reading the letter and happened to see Xiao Qin remove a listening device. She couldn't help but feel a little apologetic. Xiao Qin, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have been so careless. It seems that Yang Tan heard what we said. No wonder he said that he had evidence. Previously, when he came to talk to me, he obviously didn't have any evidence. He was just trying to trick me. It doesn't matter. Xiao Qin directly crushed the listening device and then said coldly, this matter will be solved eventually, right? Since it's here I can't hide and there's no need to hide. Tomorrow, I will go and settle things with him and see what he has to say. Now, Xiao Qin wasn't as afraid of exposing his strength as before. As long as it wasn't too powerful, he could calmly deal with it. He also planned to go to the Qing family when he had time and ask Qing Mingqiang who ordered him. It seemed that the plan could be advanced. In fact, Xiao Qin really didn't put Yang Tan in his eyes. He was a little afraid of his strength before. Now that he knew that his true Samadhi fire could even kill a first-level martial master, Xiao Qin wasn't afraid of him at all. The only thing that worried Xiao Qin was actually Yang Tan's identity and background. He didn't want to be enemies with the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. After all, this was an organization that managed martial artists. Be careful. Don't be impulsive. Song Huawu reminded, why don't I accompany you? No need. Xiao Qin flatly refused. He didn't want Song Huawu to be involved. If he really killed Yang Tan tomorrow, then Song Huawu would be in a difficult position. Should she capture him or let him go? It could be seen that Song Huawu was an upright person, so Xiao Qin did not want to make things difficult for Song Huawu. It was better for him to solve it himself. All right. Song Huawu nodded. Xiao Qin tore up the letter, then walked out of the classroom as if nothing had happened and went to the parking lot. Not far from the classroom, Yang Tan and Xia Shibin had been observing Xiao Qin's expression as he walked out, but they found that Xiao Qin didn't seem to be affected at all. He wasn't afraid at all, which made them a little disappointed. Originally, they thought that Xiao Chen would be very panicked and worried, but at this moment, it was as if nothing had happened, which made them extremely depressed. Damn it, you're going to die tomorrow, yet you're still so calm. You really know how to act cool. Yang Tan cursed unhappily and left with Xia Shibin. He still had to meet Qin Yuhan to discuss the specific plan to kill Xiao Chen tomorrow. Xiao Chen returned to the villa with Cheng Menjing and Jin Beibei. Cheng Menjing also saw that Yang Tan had handed him a letter, so she asked, Xiao Chen, what did Yang Tan give you? Do you and him have any conflicts? This guy likes Song Huo. He was unhappy when he saw me sitting at the same table with Song Huo. He's crazy. Xiao Chen said, don't worry about him. Oh. Cheng Menjing nodded. He is also from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. You should be careful. Don't let him cause you trouble. Well, I'm just an ordinary person. Why would he cause me trouble? Xiao Chen said with a smile. Although Xiao Chen said it casually, Cheng Menjing did not know why she felt that something was going to happen. It seemed that meeting Xiao Chen today would be the last time she would see him, and she would never see him again. Is something going to happen to Xiao Chen? But it doesn't look like it. Am I thinking too much? Jin Beibei comforted her. Cousin Menjing, don't worry. Your cousin-in-law is not weak either. He is a transformer. Yes, once I transform, my opponent will die. Xiao Chen said with a smile. He felt that Cheng Menjing was more worried than he was. Is she concerned about me? Thinking of this, Xiao Chen was slightly moved. The eldest miss had always been concerned about him, but she just did not know how to express it. After returning home, Xiao Chen cooked for them and then went to his room to brew medicine. The devil centipede fruit was almost used up, and the new devil centipede fruit had not ripened yet. His strength did not show any signs of a breakthrough. Even though he had killed a martial master-level devil cultivator, the battle was not intense or difficult, so Xiao Chen did not sense any opportunity for a breakthrough. In fact, what Xiao Chen did not know was that martial masters were not weak. It was just that Endowma was a devil cultivator who had just broken through to martial master. Although his strength had reached the level, he had not found the way to martial master, and he had no guidance. Moreover, his injury had just healed not long ago. His real strength was not much different from the great perfection of the inner four stage 10. Therefore Xiao Chen could kill him easily. It was just that Xiao Chen felt that Endowma's death was not worth it. No matter what, he should have made some contribution, right? The other opponents such as Leng Youxiang, Old Demon Shishan, and so on, all played the greatest value in their deaths, allowing Xiao Chen to level up. However, Endowma's death was not worth it. Endowma did not know what Xiao Chen was thinking. If he knew, he might come back to life and fight with Xiao Chen. This old man did not want to die so easily. Who the hell wants to die? After taking the medicine, Xiao Chen went upstairs to find Yi Xiaoye for dual cultivation. This time he did not wear a mask or change his clothes. He simply went upstairs in his home clothes. When he opened the door, he saw that Yi Xiaoye was already sitting by the bed waiting. At this moment she was looking at a tablet, playing something. Little Yi, what are you doing? Xiao Chen asked. Oh, the Warriors Guild app. It is promoting the mobile game, Campus Bell's Bodyguard. I am fighting monsters. Yi Xiaoye said, register an account and send me some flowers. Forget it. Jin Beibei seems to be playing it too. If she sees. Xiao Chen shook his head quickly. Stop playing. Start dual cultivation. Anyway, you are Xiao Chen. I can find you for dual cultivation at any time. What's the hurry? Sit by the side for a while. I will play for a while more. Yi Xiaoye stretched lazily and said, I am taking off my clothes. Xiao Chen was a little speechless. He ignored her and began to take off his clothes. Hey. You didn't turn off the light. Yi Xiaoye reminded him. Anyway, I have seen it. Why do I still turn it off? Xiao Chen said with a smile. Okay. I don't want to play anymore. Turn off the light. Let's dual cultivate. Yi Xiaoye said quickly. Xiao Chen turned off the light. Then he took off his clothes and went to bed. Just like that, he started dual cultivation with Yi Xiaoye. However, Yi Xiaoye was obviously not serious when she was dual cultivating. Her tablet was not turned off, and her eyes kept wandering. Although she was not playing, her character in the game was AFK. Can't you be more serious? Xiao Chen was a little depressed. In the past, he heard that when some couples were having sex, the woman would be playing with her phone or tablet. Now Xiao Chen had the same feeling. There is a Campus Bell charm competition. Do you think I can be the Campus Bell? Yi Xiaoye asked. Are you going to cultivate or not? If not, I am leaving. Xiao Chen said angrily. Cultivate. Come on. Yi Xiaoya said hurriedly. The night passed uneventfully. In the morning, Xiaoqin continued to play with the flowers and plants in the flower bed. The day passed quickly. When he went to school during the day, it was as if Yang Tan had never sent him a letter of challenge. He did not mention this matter, nor did he look for Xiaoqin. However, when school was over, Yang Tan looked at Xiaoqin meaningfully and then quickly left the classroom. Xiaoqin, can you go by yourself? Why don't I go with you? Song Huawu said worriedly. No need. Xiaoqin waved his hand and said, I can go by myself. Xiaoqin sent a message to Cheng Minjing and Jean Beibei, telling them that he had something to do at night and that they didn't have to wait for him. They could drive back by themselves. Then he stopped a taxi at the school gate and went to Songlong Mountain cliff mouth. Last time, when Xiaoqin was frustrated, he accidentally obtained the sole inheritance of the Elder Heaven ancestor in Songlong Mountain cliff mouth. This time he came to this place again, which made him feel a little emotional. Previously he was a weak person, but now Xiaoqin was a strong person. Seeing the foot of the mountain and hearing Yang Tan's car, Xiaoqin knew that he had arrived. However, there was a car that he didn't know. He didn't know whose car it was. Xiaoqin paid the fare and got out of the car. Then he walked in the direction of the cliff. Sure enough, he saw Yang Tan standing in front of the cliff with his hands behind his back, looking like a proud master. Beside him, what surprised Xiaoqin was that brother Han, who played basketball in No. 1 high school. How did these two people get together? Logically speaking, brother Han had tricked Yang Tan in the basketball match, so these two people should be sworn enemies. How did they end up together? However, Xiaoqin still walked over with a relaxed expression and greeted Yang Tan. Isn't this student Yang? Could it be that you guys want to play basketball here? White Fox, stop pretending. I already know your identity. Yang Tan didn't talk nonsense with him but said directly. What's the matter? Just say it. Xiaoqin didn't talk nonsense with him. Since Yang Tan already had the evidence, it was impossible for him to deny it. You're White Fox? Brother Han, who was at the side, jumped out and looked at Xiaoqin with a face full of fighting spirit. Who are you? What are you doing here? Xiaoqin asked curiously. Let me introduce myself. My name is Qin Yuhan. Leng Youxiang is my senior. Qin Yuhan snorted and said, I have been looking for you. I didn't expect you to be a coward. You hid and refused to see me. You even pretended to be a student and said that you went out to do a mission. You are really as timid as a mouse. Qin Yuhan. Xiaoqin was slightly surprised. This brother Han is actually Qin Yuhan? Isn't this too much of a coincidence? This really surprised him. Originally, when Yi Xiaoya told him, he didn't take it seriously. However, he didn't expect Qin Yuhan to be so persistent. He actually stayed in Songning City to look for him. Chapter 497. Yes, it's me. Qin Yuhan sneered. You killed my brother, but you don't dare to stand up. Do you dare to fight me to the death? Xiaoqin looked at Yang Tan strangely. He did not answer Qin Yuhan but asked Yang Tan, Yang Tan, what do you say? Did you send me here to fight him? White Fox, this young hero Qin found me and wanted me to be a witness. You and him have a fair fight. Of course, if you accept it, then I won't pursue the matter of you being White Fox. Yang Tan said, just take it as me doing young hero Qin a favor. You're so kind? Xiaoqin looked at Yang Tan and asked. Actually, after thinking about it, I don't have any way to trouble you. It's not good for me. Yang Tan said, but I have a condition. If you lose, you have to change seats with me. How about it? So it's about the seats. After listening to Yang Tan, Xiaoqin no longer had any doubts. After all, this was Yang Tan's wish all along. What if I win? Asked Xiaoqin. If you win, I will drop out and leave the school. Yang Tan said, is this fair? Okay. Xiaoqin nodded and agreed, I hope you keep your word. Don't worry, I still have this bit of credibility. It's not a big deal. Yang Tan said, there's nothing else. Both of you get ready for the fight. There's no need to prepare. Let's start, said Xiaoqin. Very well, since you're so confident, I'll show you how powerful I am. After that, Qin Yuhan's body was filled with endless fighting spirit. It was cold and aggressive. Inner force level 9. Xiaoqin looked at Qin Yuhan and was a little surprised. This was a master, but he had just broken through to inner force level 9. However, although his strength was high, it was not enough in Xiaoqin's eyes. Didn't you say that you're at the peak of inner force level 9? You just broke through to inner force level 9. Previously, you were only at the peak of inner force level 8, right? It seems that you and your master are pretentious. Your strength is obviously not that high, but you have to brag about it. You're courting death. Qin Yuhan was so angry that his face turned pale. He had indeed just broken through to the inner force stage 9. Previously he had been at the peak of the inner force stage 8. That was his original strength. However, he had a unique skill that could instantly increase his strength and cultivation. It was called demonic chi manifestation. This was the unique skill of the extreme ice sect. After using demonic chi to form his physical strength, his cultivation would instantly increase by 1 level, reaching the peak of inner force stage 9. This was also the reason why the extreme ice sect claimed to be the strongest sect. This was not an exaggeration, just like how Ling Youxiang also knew this ultimate skill. But now Qin Yuhan had broken through to the inner force stage 9. If he used his ultimate skill, he would be able to reach the inner force stage 10. This was his pride, but he was actually looked down upon by Xiao Qian, so he was immediately angry. Coldine Blade. As he spoke, Qin Yuhan launched an attack. An ice blade shot in the direction of Xiao Qian and smashed in front of Xiao Qian. Xiao Qian easily dodged it. That's all you've got? Then you can only end up like your senior brother. Xiao Qian said calmly. It was the same skill, but it was of a lower level than his. To be honest, Xiao Qian was a little disappointed with Qin Yuhan. Bragging. Qin Yuhan sneered and launched another attack. He put his palms together and flipped them. An ice ball flew towards Xiao Qian. It was much faster and stronger than the ice blade from before. It seemed that Qin Yuhan was indeed stronger than Ling Youxiang. Of course, Xiao Qian did not take it seriously. He directly threw a true samadhi fire at the ice ball. The ice ball melted instantly. It's just a small trick. This is impossible. Qin Yuhan looked at Xiao Qian in shock. Xiao Qian had only thrown such a small fireball, but it had actually broken his ice ball skill. It was simply unbelievable. He did not know that Xiao Qian was using the true samadhi fire. He thought that it was a fireball skill. What's impossible about it? Take another one of my moves. As Xiao Qian spoke, he threw another fireball at Qin Yuhan. Feeling the power of the fireball, Qin Yuhan was slightly shocked. This fireball could not be underestimated. It could easily dissolve his ice ball before, and now the fireball was even bigger than before. He had no choice but to be on guard. Ah! Qin Yuhan shouted. His hands were covered in cold devil chi as he smashed the ground in front of him. An ice wall was cast high in front of him, blocking Xiao Qian's fireball. However, something unexpected happened to Qin Yuhan. The fireball was blocked by the ice wall. It did offset some of its power, but it did not completely dissipate. Instead, it passed through the ice wall and attacked Qin Yuhan again. Qin Yuhan was shocked and kept retreating. However, he did not expect that just as he dodged the fireball, the remaining power of the fireball would still burn him. Immediately, his hair was singed and his scalp was charred black. Fortunately, he had released a cold aura to his head in the face of danger. Otherwise, his skull would have been burnt to the ground. I'm so angry. Qin Yuhan did not expect Xiao Qian to be so powerful. Previously, he had heard the entire process of the battle between White Fox and Ling Youxiang. However, he did not see White Fox use any fireball skills. Could it be that he did not use his full strength before? Yang Tan frowned as he watched from the side. What was this situation? Previously, he was counting on Qin Yuhan to help him destroy Xiao Qian. But now Xiao Qian was unscathed. Instead, Qin Yuhan was retreating in defeat. This was too much. If this continued, it was unknown whether Qin Yuhan could kill Xiao Qian. Perhaps Xiao Qian would kill Qin Yuhan. Devil Chi takes form. Qin Yuhan knew that he had no choice but to use his ultimate move. Until now, he had not seen through Xiao Qian's strength. When Xiao Qian urged these two martial skills, he did not seem to circulate the mantra at all, nor did he show any power. Qin Yuhan's eyes turned red and his body formed an armor-like layer of ice. This move was also used by Ling Youxiang before. It was a move that killed 1,000 enemies while sacrificing 800 men. It forced out all the devil chi in one's body and formed an armor around one's body. This way one's strength would also increase. It was equivalent to an external martial artist increasing 1 level. Of course, when Ling Youxiang used it previously, he was already seriously injured, so he had no choice but to use it. His actual strength did not increase much. However, Qin Yuhan was different. He was almost uninjured, so his strength soared in an instant. When Xiao Qian saw this scene, he was not worried. Instead, he smiled and said lightly, "This move again? Can't it be more fresh?" Dark Flame Palm. As he spoke, Xiao Qian used Dark Flame Palm and smashed it at Qin Yuhan. Qin Yuhan had just used his devil chi to take form. Before he could finish, he was hit by Xiao Chen's palm. With a bang, he flew 8 feet away and fell heavily to the ground. Although his injuries were not particularly serious, he was in a sorry state. At this time he finally knew Xiao Chen's true strength. It was almost at the peak of stage 10 inner force. At this moment he finally understood that Xiao Chen was actually very confident. Previously, when he fought with him, he probably had the attitude of playing with him. Even if he used his demonic chi to form a suit of armor, it would still be very difficult to suppress him, let alone kill him. What Qin Yuhan saw, Yang Tan was no exception. His expression changed slightly. He did not expect Xiao Chen to be so strong. He was actually about the same level as him. Team leader Yang, now that things have come to this, if I can't get the upper hand, you won't be able to achieve your goal. Why aren't you coming to help? Qin Yuhan knew that with Xiao Chen's ruthlessness, he might die here today. Therefore he gritted his teeth and asked Yang Tan for help. Yang Tan's expression was a little unnatural. He looked at Qin Yuhan hatefully. He wanted to stay out of this matter and used Qin Yuhan to kill Xiao Chen. He did not expect Qin Yuhan to drag him down with him. However, thinking about it carefully, if Xiao Chen really killed Qin Yuhan today, it would not be easy for him to find trouble with Xiao Chen next time. Moreover, he could not guarantee that he could definitely take down Xiao Chen. It would be a joke to apply to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau to investigate Xiao Chen just because he disguised himself as a white fox. Xiao Chen had the identity of the demonic star sect. It would not be easy for Yang Tan to touch Xiao Chen. Thinking of this, Yang Tan gritted his teeth and braced himself. However, this way the plan that he had set up before could not be realized. He was prepared to let Xiao Chen die accidentally. He did not intend to intervene. Now, although it could be said that it was an accident, there was no convincing evidence. He could only rely on his own words. I didn't expect it. Yang Tan, are your words *T? Previously you said that you were just a witness. How did you get involved? Xiao Chen looked at Yang Tan mockingly. Xiao Chen, tell the truth. I just want to kill you. So what? Yang Tan simply shed all pretense of cordiality and did not care anymore. He laughed out loud, then directly kicked Xiao Chen. No one has ever dared to speak to me like this, Yang Tan. You've been going against me time and time again, and even against my Qin family. It's already not bad that I've kept you alive until now. Today will be the day you die. It's not certain who will die. Xiao Chen did not play around anymore. The primordial energy in his body surged. He used the dark flame palm in his left hand and the large fireball technique in his right hand to attack Qin Yuhan. Boom. Qin Yuhan never expected that it would be so easy for Xiao Chen to kill him. He was an expert nurtured by the extreme ice sect, but he could not withstand a single blow from Xiao Chen. He watched as the armor on his chest was shattered by Xiao Chen's dark flame palm. That was not all. Xiao Chen's other hand smashed a large fireball into his chest. The next moment, Qin Yuhan's body took a few steps back. There was an obvious hole in his chest. His eyes protruded out as he died unwillingly. Only in death did he realize how great the gap between him and Xiao Chen was. Chapter 498. Xiao Chen was at least at the level of a martial master. He wasn't someone a stage 9 inner force demonic cultivator could defeat. Asking Xiao Chen to avenge Leng Youxiang was a joke. Even if he had a unique skill that could increase his strength by 1 level, so what? He still wasn't a match for Xiao Chen. He was a martial master and had an overwhelming advantage. Team leader Yang, avenge me. Even if you can't, you have to send the news back to the sect. These were Qin Yuhan's last words before he died. After that, he was no longer breathing. Yang Tan was stunned when he saw Qin Yuhan being killed. He didn't expect Xiao Chen to be so powerful. He took a deep breath and thought of retreating. If Qin Yuhan hadn't died, they could have killed Xiao Chen with a pincer attack. But now that Qin Yuhan was dead, it would be difficult for him to kill Xiao Chen even if he was a stage 1 martial master. After all, in his opinion, Xiao Chen's strength was about the same as his. They were evenly matched. If they really fought, it was hard to say who would have the upper hand. Thinking of this, Yang Tan was ready to run. Anyway, he had the evidence that Xiao Chen killed Qin Yuhan. Even if he didn't kill him, he would be hunted down by the extreme ice sect. It wouldn't be a wasted trip. But Qin Yuhan ***. When Yang Tan heard his last words before he died, he was furious. So what if you're dead? You want me to be your scapegoat before you die? Now he's afraid that Xiao Chen won't let me go? He wants me to go back and report to the sect? What can Xiao Chen do? Will he let me go? If he didn't mention it, Xiao Chen might not have thought of it. But now that he mentioned it, Xiao Chen definitely wouldn't let him go so easily. After all, if the extreme ice sect came to seek revenge on Xiao Qin would suffer. Xiao Qin, okay, you win. I'll keep my promise. I'll quit school tomorrow. Yang Tan quickly shouted, okay, let's stop fighting. No matter what, he had to express his stance. He didn't want both sides to suffer losses. Truce. Xiao Qin sneered, you think it's so simple. You want to stop fighting just because you said so? Then you want to forget about the sneak attack just now? I'm from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. If you want to fight with me, you better think about the consequences. When the time comes, you won't be able to walk away unscathed. Yang Tan threatened, but if you stop fighting, I can pretend that nothing happened. Also, I won't inform the extreme ice sect about Qin Yuhan's death. Really? Xiao Qin looked at Yang Tan with a faint smile. As a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, you dare to hide it? If you don't say it and I don't say it, no one will know, Yang Tan said. Do you think I will believe you? Your words are as fickle as farting, Xiao Qin said calmly. Today you and I will fight to the death. Ha, fine, Xiao Qin, fight to the death. Yang Tan heard Xiao Qin's determination and laughed instead of being angry. Do you really think that I'm afraid of you? I'm just keeping my promise. If you really want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. With that, Yang Tan's body burst with energy, revealing the strength of a martial master. Martial artists cultivated inner force while martial artists transformed inner force into inner force. Inner force was explosive power, but inner force could be extended endlessly. The martial arts techniques of martial artists emphasized on ferocity. They would hit their target in one hit, but there was no aftershock. However, martial artists were different. When martial artists activated their martial arts techniques, they could be extended endlessly. If they missed their target in one hit, they could continue to activate it. It was somewhat similar to demonic cultivators. This was also the reason why the gap between demonic cultivators and martial cultivators would be shortened at the martial master level. Both martial arts techniques could be activated continuously. One relied on the inner force in the body while the other relied on the demonic aura in the body. You're too long-winded. You can die now. Xiao Qin didn't want to talk nonsense with him. He directly threw an ice ball at Yang Tan. In fact, Xiao Qin also wanted to use the true Samadhi fire, but the true Samadhi fire consumed too much of his body's primordial energy. Therefore, Xiao Qin didn't continue using it. Instead, he used an ice ball to delay it. Of course, this ice ball was not as simple as an ordinary ice ball. This was an extremely cold ice ball. It was not weaker than Qin Yuhan's ice ball. In fact, it was even stronger. When it hit a martial artist, not only could it cause serious damage to the martial artist, but it could also temporarily freeze the martial artist's body and numb it. Although this martial arts technique is good, it's just SOSO. Yang Tan sneered. His body nimbly jumped up and easily dodged Xiao Qin's ice ball. Then he reached out and patted his waist. A handgun appeared in his hand. Stupid thing. Do you think I will fight you head-on? A gun? Xiao Qin was stunned. He didn't expect Yang Tan to carry a gun. However, thinking about his identity as a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, having a gun didn't mean anything. Whether it was a martial artist or a martial master, although the strength and flexibility of the body had reached the extreme, to put it bluntly, simple injuries might be fine. However, if it was a real shot, it would definitely hurt. Have you heard of it? No matter how good your martial arts is, you're still afraid of a kitchen knife. No matter how good your martial arts is, you're still afraid of a gun? Yang Tan laughed shamelessly. Luckily, I'm prepared. As he spoke, Yang Tan shot between Xiao Qin's legs. Bang! Xiao Qin quickly dodged. He was a little angry in his heart. This guy was really sinister. This was the rhythm of ending his family line. Ha 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 ha. Yang Tan didn't wait for Xiao Qin to react and fired another shot. Xiao Qin could only frown and bite the bullet to dodge. He didn't even have time to circulate the mantra, nor did he have time to activate his martial arts technique. All his energy was used to dodge the bullets. The Xia Kingdom's management of guns was quite strict. Even these martial arts families rarely used guns. Whoever dared to use a gun would definitely be investigated by the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Of course, these martial arts families and sects disdained to use guns. It also violated the true meaning of martial arts. However, Yang Tan was different. He was originally a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Although he was a black sheep, he had the right to use a gun. Bang! Another shot. Yang Tan looked at Xiao Qin proudly. How about it, Xiao Qin? Now you know the advantage of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, right? You want to fight with me? You're still too young. Xiao Chen's heart sank. He knew that today wouldn't end well. However, Yang Tan was a vengeful person. If he let him go today, then there would be endless troubles in the future. He might even be chased by the extreme ice sect. This gave Xiao Chen a headache. Even if he knew he wasn't a match, he had to bite the bullet and fight. However, just as Xiao Chen was about to activate his martial arts technique or fireball, Yang Tan fired a shot. This caught Xiao Chen off guard. If he was a little careless, he might get shot. He really didn't play by the rules. Xiao Chen could only dodge left and right. Fortunately, the bullets in Yang Tan's gun should be limited and not endless. As long as the bullets were used up, then Xiao Chen's chance would come. However, what surprised Xiao Chen was that Yang Tan's gun was probably special. After shooting nearly 10 times in a row, it still didn't use up the bullets. This surprised him slightly. Yang Tan continued. I don't believe that you always have bullets in your gun, said Xiao Chen coldly. Hey, you're right. I always have bullets. Yang Tan fired 2 shots at Xiao Chen consecutively this time. Then he changed a clip from his pocket. It seemed that he brought a lot of bullets. Enough to kill you. Xiao Chen's face darkened. It seemed that his hopes were dashed. This guy wasn't easy to deal with. Previously, Xiao Chen also consumed a lot of stamina and vitality on Qin Yuhan. He hadn't recovered yet. If he continued to persist with Yang Tan like this, he would definitely be the one at a disadvantage. On the other side, Yang Tan could continuously shoot him without wasting any effort. On the other hand, he had to waste a lot of energy to dodge the bullets. It had to be said that Yang Tan's despicable method was very effective. F***ck your grandpa. Xiao Chen was about to explode from anger. With a roar, he simply stopped dodging and charged straight at Yang Tan's bullet, allowing the bullet to hit his abdomen. Xiao Chen, on the other hand, was like a large ice ball, hurriedly throwing it from his hands. Whoosh! Bang! Yang Tan was caught off guard by Xiao Chen's ice ball. He was shooting proudly. In his opinion, Xiao Chen wouldn't be stupid enough to take the initiative to be shot, so he didn't put up any defense at all. He didn't expect Xiao Chen to be so reckless. He was shot directly. When he saw the ice ball coming, it was too late for him to dodge. He could only quickly pull the trigger. Bang bang bang. He fired 3 shots in a row and all of them hit Xiao Chen's body. As for himself, he was directly hit by the big ice ball. However, in his opinion, if the ice ball hit him, it would at most cause a minor injury. It wouldn't cause too much damage. Borrowing the force, he took 2 steps back. But what he didn't expect was that his feet suddenly slipped, his body trembled, and with a tremble, he directly fell down the cliff behind him. This accident stunned Xiao Chen. He didn't expect Yang Tan to fall directly off the cliff after being hit. Xiao Chen couldn't care less about the gunshot wound on his body. He limped to the edge of the cliff. The cliff was so deep that he couldn't see the bottom. He had experienced it before. Without the Elder Heaven Ancestor's possession, he would have died long ago. Yang Tan probably wouldn't survive if he fell. Shaking his head, Xiao Chen suddenly understood why Yang Tan asked him to come to this place. If he accidentally fell off the cliff during the fight, then it wouldn't be Yang Tan who killed him. It would be his own accidental death. Although Qin Yuhan was here for revenge, killing a Devil Star sect disciple outside of the summit was a troublesome matter. However, if he accidentally fell to his death and Yang Tan was at the side as a witness, then Qin Yuhan would have nothing to do with it. How sinister! Xiao Chen sighed. However, he wouldn't die if he didn't court death. This Yang Tan had shot himself in the foot. He didn't frame Xiao Chen, but he fell to his death instead. Xiao Chen heaved a sigh of relief. Although it was easy for him to beat Qin Yuhan just now, the fireball technique was quite exhausting. He had used it 3 times in a row, and his body's primordial qi was already exhausted. Chapter 499. Although he was not necessarily afraid of Yang Tan, if they really fought, it would probably be a fierce battle. It would not be as easy as before. Now that Yang Tan was dead, it saved him the trouble. He threw Qin Yuhan's body off the cliff. Xiao Chen looked at the scene. There were no clues that could expose his identity, so he prepared to leave. Although both of them were dead, it made Xiao Chen feel a little uneasy. There was no other reason. Xia Shibin had been accompanying Yang Tan all the time, but now he was not here. This made Xiao Chen shudder. If it were any other time, Xiao Chen would not be afraid. Even if Xia Shibin ambushed him, it would not cause him any harm. But now he was seriously injured and had been shot several times. If Xia Shibin saw this, he would be crippled even if he did not die. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen gritted his teeth and quickly left the scene. He walked to the parking lot at the foot of Songlong Mountain. There were 2 cars there. One was Yang Tan's and the other was probably Qin Yuhan's. Xiao Qin directly opened the car lock with his primordial qi. Then he got into Yang Tan's car, started the car and quickly drove away. Because the bullet was still in his body, Xiao Qin could not treat the wound, nor could he stop the bleeding. The blood flowed like a river in the car, but Xiao Qin could only choose to escape first. Even so, Xiao Qin still endured the pain and set up an illusion to cover the car so that outsiders could not see that it was a car. This was also to avoid Xia Shibin's eyes and ears. Finally he came to a seemingly safe place. Xiao Qin parked the car and directly heeled in the car. Xia Shibin did not chase after Xiao Qin because he could not catch up. At this moment he was on a cable car some distance away from Songlong Mountain cliff mouth. He was recording the situation here according to Yang Tan's previous instructions. Based on Yang Tan's previous plan, Xiao Qin would be accidentally knocked off the cliff by Qin Yuhan. Not only would he testify, but there would also be a video recording as proof. This way Xiao Qin would be able to prove that he died by accident. At that time, whether it was the demonic star sect or Yang Tan, they would be able to account for themselves and would not get into trouble. But later he had no choice but to intervene. Although Xia Shibin saw it, he did not dare to stop the video. Anyway, he could still edit it when he returned. He would listen to what Yang Tan had to say. Unexpectedly he did not stop the video. He actually saw a scene that shocked him. Qin Yuhan and Yang Tan were actually killed by Xiao Qin. Although he saw Xiao Qin drive away after being injured, he did not think of chasing after him. He still knew his own strength. There was no need to court death. Moreover, when he rushed over, Xiao Qin had already run away. The only thing he had to do now was to quickly report this matter to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau and ask the higher-ups to make a decision. Yang Tan's death was a huge matter. He did not dare to neglect it. After thinking about it, he decided to call Song Huawu. Regardless of whether Song Huawu was on Xiao Qin's side or not, Xia Shibin believed that Song Huawu would definitely not cover up for Xiao Qin in such a big matter. And to be on the safe side, he quickly uploaded the video to his network disk. Then he took the video recorder down the cable car and dialed Song Huawu's phone number. Song Huawu returned home and was restless. She was a little worried about Xiao Qin. Yang Tan asked Xiao Qin to go to Songlong Mountain cliff mouth. It was obviously not a good thing. She regretted not going with him. There was no news for so long. Would it take so long to negotiate? Just as she was thinking about whether she should go and take a look, the phone rang. Song Huawu quickly picked up the phone and looked at it. It was actually Xia Shibin's call. She quickly picked it up and said, "Xia Shibin? What's the matter?" "Deputy Team Leader Song, where are you? I have something important to report to you," said Xia Shibin. Song Huawu was his immediate superior in addition to Yang Tan. According to the rules, he could only report to the higher-ups through Song Huawu. "I'm at home. What's the matter?" Song Huawu's heart suddenly tightened. "This is the case, Team Leader Yang. He was killed by Xiao Qin. What do you think about this?" said Xia Shibin. "What?" Song Huawu was suddenly stunned after listening. Yang Tan was killed by Xiao Qin? How could this be? Song Huawu thought of many possibilities. It was even possible that Xiao Qin was killed by Yang Tan. She just didn't expect that Xiao Qin actually dared to kill Yang Tan. Or in other words, could Xiao Qin actually kill Yang Tan? Did he have that level of strength? Deputy Team Leader Song Qin Yuhan from the Extreme Ice Sect was also killed by Xiao Qin. Xia Shibin said, "I suggest that we immediately report this matter to the headquarters because the matter is too big. We can't solve it anymore." "Okay, come over immediately and tell me what's going on," said Song Huawu. "I'm on my way," said Xia Shibin. Not long after, the doorbell rang in Song Huawu's room. Song Huawu opened the door and saw Xia Shibin, who was sweating, walking in quickly. When he saw Song Huawu, he went straight to the point. "Deputy Team Leader Song, what should we do now? Tell me the details of the matter," Song Huawu instructed. "It's all in this video. Deputy Team Leader Song, take a look yourself." Xia Shibin didn't know how to say it. Anyway, there was a video. It was better for Song Huawu to see it herself. Now that Yang Tan was dead, he had no way to hide Yang Tan's plan. Song Huawu nodded and looked at the video provided by Xia Shibin. Unfortunately, the video was recorded from a distance. There was no sound, so she didn't know what they were talking about. However, what Song Huawu saw was that Xiao Qin first fought with Brother Han and killed him. So she asked, "This person is Qin Yuhan?" "Yes, he is Qin Yuhan from the Extreme Ice Sect. He is also Brother Han from number 1 high school, said Xia Shibin. Then why did team leader Yang Jianan suddenly make a move? From the looks of the situation, he only appeared as a witness. What does he mean by helping Qin Yuhan? Song Huawu asked. These two people joined forces to attack Xiao Qin. Isn't it right for Xiao Qin to resist? This can't be blamed on Xiao Qin, right? Maybe there are other reasons? After all, Xia Shibin followed Yang Tan. Even if Yang Tan died, it wouldn't be good to say anything bad about him. Report the video to the higher-ups. Song Huawu knew that no matter what she and Xia Shibin said, it was all speculation. She could only ask the higher-ups to make a decision. Although Song Huawu wanted to help Xiao Qin, she couldn't hide it. After all, the matter was too serious. Moreover, even if she didn't report it, Xia Shibin definitely wouldn't keep it a secret. She couldn't kill Xia Shibin, right? Therefore, Song Huawu directly opened the laptop and sent it to her superior, Xia Zhili, the deputy director of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau who was in charge of Team C. Xia Zhili was Yang Tan's backer. Although his surname was Xia, he had nothing to do with Xia Shibin. There were many people with the same name. Even if he was Yang Tan's backer, Song Huawu couldn't go past him to report to others. This was somewhat disadvantageous to Xiao Qin. However, in his report letter he still added some subjective analysis. It was that Xiao Qin originally had an appointment with Qin Yuhan, but Yang Jianan suddenly intervened, causing Xiao Qin to suffer a double attack. That was why he killed in anger. Of course, whether Xia Zhili would accept it or not wasn't something that Song Huawu could decide. Looking at Song Huawu's email, Xia Shibin nodded heavily and said, Deputy Team Leader Song, then I will go back and rest first. If there are any new developments you can inform me again. Okay. Song Huawu also wanted to send Xia Shibin away and call Xiao Qin. Although she couldn't help him, at the very least she could give him a reminder and tell him that the matter had been exposed. Otherwise, Xiao Qin probably wouldn't know that Xia Shibin already knew about this matter. This video was obviously recorded from a distance, so it was very likely that Xiao Qin didn't know about it. After sending Xia Shibin away, Song Huawu hesitated for a moment and dialed Xiao Qin's phone number. This could be said to be against the rules, but Song Huawu knew that it wasn't Xiao Qin's fault. It was Yang Tan who had been provoking him. Yang Tan even took the initiative to attack Xiao Qin. In any case, she had to inform Xiao Qin. Even if she couldn't change the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's decision, she could deal with it and let Xiao Qin leave this place as soon as possible. Xiao Qin had already taken out the bullets and was healing himself. Fortunately, these 3 shots weren't fatal. Xiao Qin intentionally or unintentionally moved his body so that the bullets didn't hit his vital parts. Even so, it still made Xiao Qin feel a little dizzy and almost lost too much blood. If he were to go to the hospital, it would be troublesome. Fortunately, his mental cultivation method was relatively special, and he was a cultivator so he could heal himself. Huawo. Xiao Qin picked up the phone. Xiao Qin, where are you? The matter of you killing Qin Yuhan and Yang Jianan has been exposed. Xia Shibin has recorded the whole process. Song Huawu said hurriedly, you must not show up now and don't go home. Find a place to hide. Be careful. What? Xiao Qin was shocked. He was afraid that Xia Shibin would chase after him, but he didn't expect this guy to secretly record it. It seemed that this guy was the same as Yang Tan. They liked to do things sneakily. Thinking of this, Xiao Qin couldn't help but frown. He didn't expect things to turn out like this. Although he was now a bad *SS, it was absolutely impossible for him to directly go against the Supernatural Investigation Bureau and the Extreme Ice Sect. Now who knows about it? Can this matter be suppressed? Xiao Qin asked anxiously. It can't be suppressed. Xia Shibin came to me and watched me report the matter. I can't help you hide it. Song Huawu said, this matter will probably come to a conclusion soon. Why were you so impulsive? Didn't I tell you? Why did you? He wanted to kill me. If I didn't kill him, I would have died. Xiao Qin smiled bitterly. In other words, I will soon become a wanted criminal? Chapter 500. More or less. Song Huawu sighed, I can only help you this much. I estimate that the Supernatural Investigation Bureau will soon send people to arrest you. Once you show up, the consequences will be unimaginable. I understand. Xiao Qin took a deep breath, but he did not regret it. Yang Tan, this person would always be a scourge if he was not killed. At most, he would hide for a period of time, then find a place to improve his strength. When his strength increased, he would appear again. This Yang Tan, even after death, still caused trouble for him. Xiao Qin was a little depressed, especially Xia Shibin. He was really a sinister person. Then let's do this first. If you have something, don't contact me again. I will buy another SIM card to contact you. This card will probably be monitored soon. Song Huawu said. Alright, why don't you send me a private message directly from the Warrior Guild's client? Xiao Qin said. Alright. Song Huawu responded. Even if the Supernatural Investigation Bureau wanted to arrest Xiao Qin, it was impossible for them to investigate his Warrior Guild account. There was no need for that. After hanging up the phone, Xiao Qin fell into deep thought. There were many experts in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Just Yang Tan alone was an expert at the Martial Master Level 1. They even had guns, which really gave Xiao Qin a headache. Yang Tan and the others were probably the only ones who dared to open fire in public. They were really black sheep. No wonder these aristocratic families were so ruthless. Even the Liu family, a mafia family, did not dare to openly use guns. Elder Heaven Ancestor, didn't you say that cultivators are very powerful? What if I encounter guns now? This was an important question that Xiao Qin had to consider. Well, Elder Heaven Ancestor said, you are still too weak. If you break through the Qi refinement stage and enter the foundation establishment stage, you will not have so many concerns. For cultivators, the Qi refinement stage is a very short stage. Any cultivator with a little talent will quickly pass this stage. No one will stay in the Qi refinement stage forever. With that kind of talent, there is no need to cultivate. Are you scolding me or scolding me? Xiao Qin was a little speechless. I'm not scolding you. How many months have you been cultivating? Wasn't that short? It's even shorter than mine. Many cultivators break through during seclusion. The Elder Heaven Ancestor said, who knew you would cause so much trouble before you even passed the Qi condensation stage? Although the speed of the bullet is very fast, if you are at the foundation establishment stage and can use sword kinesis flight, you can completely control the direction of the bullet. You can even turn it around and kill Yang Tan. It's just that you can't lock onto such a fast target right now. Sai, even so, with the abilities of cultivators, every time I use them, I have to urge the incantation of the mantra. But the speed of the gunshot is too fast, I can't react at all. Xiao Qin smiled bitterly. It would be great if I could instantly set up illusions or launch fireballs and ice balls. It takes a few seconds every time. A few seconds isn't bad. If you could reach the foundation establishment stage, you'd be able to do it in a second. Elder Sky said, I'll say it again. Who can you blame for not being strong enough? Your strength is trash in the cultivation world. Alright. Xiao Qin was hit hard, but it was true after thinking about it. He had only been cultivating for a few months. These aristocratic families, even the martial arts aristocratic families and sects, didn't dare to compete with the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. This was a giant existence that was even more powerful than the Warrior Guild. Others couldn't wait to avoid it, so how could they have a conflict with it? If I were you, I would find a place to hide. The moment you reach the foundation establishment stage will be the moment you return to Songning. The Elder Heaven Ancestor said. Let me think about it. Xiao Qin fell into deep thought. At the same time, the martial arts world of Songning City was about to explode. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau's reaction speed was quite fast. Yang Tan's backer, Xia Zhili, was the deputy director of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. He had great power. When he saw the video, although he knew that Yang Tan was also responsible, he played it down. He directly determined that Xiao Qin killed a public official of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau and issued a warrant to arrest Xiao Qin in the martial arts world. The Xiao family soon welcomed a few uninvited guests. These people were members of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's law enforcement team. Xia Zhili didn't let Song Huawu participate at all, but directly sent people to arrest Xiao Qin. And it was only at this moment that Xiao Yuanshan and Xiao Hai realized that Xiao Qin was actually the White Fox. However, they couldn't be happy anymore because according to the people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, Xiao Qin killed the team leader of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team C, which was a capital crime. How could the Xiao family be happy? At this moment, Xiao Yuanshan and Xiao Hai understood why the White Fox would spare no effort to help the Xiao family, and why he was so respectful to them. It was because of this reason. If it wasn't for the current situation, they would only be happy. Xiao Qin could finally become the pillar of the Xiao family. But now, whether Xiao Qin could escape this disaster was another matter. Xiao Qin has long been kicked out of the Xiao family. He is no longer a member of our Xiao family. Did you come to the wrong place? Xiao Xiao saw that her father and grandfather were silent in shock, so she spoke to the people of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. When she mentioned Xiao Chen, Xiao Zhao's eyes were full of contempt and disdain. There is no such person in our Xiao family. The two people of the law enforcement team had long heard that Xiao Chen was kicked out of the Xiao family, but the White Fox came to help the Xiao family before. If it wasn't for this, they wouldn't have come to the Xiao family. But as far as I know, the White Fox came once before? We didn't know at that time. If we knew, I wouldn't have bothered with him. Xiao Xiao snorted. The people of the law enforcement team were curious about the internal relationship of the Xiao family. Why was the White Fox so powerful, but they didn't welcome him? But thinking about it, Xiao Chen didn't reveal his identity when he returned to the Xiao family. This could explain why Xiao Chen didn't seem to want to return. Don't worry, if I see Xiao Chen, I will tell you immediately, Xiao Xiao said. And that's good. Then we will leave first. The people of the law enforcement team nodded. Although time was limited, they had already inquired about what happened to Xiao Chen and the White Fox in Songning City during this time. The relationship between Xiao Xiao and Xiao Chen was very bad. They also heard about the several times she insulted Xiao Chen in public. They thought that if there was news of the White Fox, Xiao Xiao would definitely inform them immediately. They still had to go to the next family, and they didn't have time to stay here for too long. Hence, the two of them bid farewell and left. The Xiao family and Xiao Chen had already severed their relationship. They couldn't vent their anger on the Xiao family. After all, the Supernatural Investigation Bureau had to follow the rules when doing things. It wasn't until the people of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau left the Xiao family that Xiao Yuanshan and Xiao Hai came back to their senses. Xiao Xiao, just now if I didn't say that, would they be able to leave? What if brother comes back to find us? Xiao Xiao said. But Xiao Chen came back to help us previously and we still acted so ruthlessly. This isn't good, right? What will others think of our Xiao family? Xiao Hai said with some worry. Dad, we're helping brother by drawing a clear line with him now. The people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau might be fine, but what if the people from the Extreme Eye sect use our Xiao family as a hostage to force brother to appear? What choice would brother make then? Xiao Xiao said, only when everyone thinks that we have nothing to do with brother will they not do anything to the Xiao family. We'll be fine and that will be a great help to brother. That's right, Xiao Xiao is right. Xiao Yuanshan nodded and was very pleased. Originally, I thought that Xiao Xiao really hated Xiao Chen, but now it seems that isn't the case. Last time, I'm afraid that you and I didn't recognize Xiao Chen, but Xiao Xiao recognized him, right? Xiao Zhao's face was slightly red. I was wondering, I thought Xiao Xiao liked the White Fox. So it was you who recognized him. Xiao Hai suddenly realized. And? Xiao Zhao's face was even redder. Two people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau went to Cheng Minjing's villa after leaving the Xiao family. At this time, Cheng Minjing already knew the news because the news had already spread. Cheng Minjing, Jin Beibei, and Yi Xiaoya were all sitting in the living room of the villa, frowning. Cheng Minjing really didn't expect that the feeling she had last night would become real. Was Xiao Chen really going to leave? However, what was most unacceptable to Cheng Minjing was that Xiao Chen was actually the White Fox. Then, between him and Xin Jingxian, Cheng Minjing was a little unhappy when she thought that her best friend had lied to her. Although she had broken off the engagement with Xiao Chen, at least Xiao Chen was still her follower, right? Xin Jingxian was with the White Fox. How could she not know that the White Fox was Xiao Chen? Besides, Jin Beibei and Yi Xiaoya didn't seem surprised that Xiao Chen was the White Fox at all. They were just worried about his safety. Cheng Minjing was a little upset. Cheng Minjing couldn't help but ask, Beibei, Yi Xiaoya, did you two know that Xiao Chen was the White Fox a long time ago? Cousin Minjing, don't be angry. I guessed it, but I was afraid that you would quarrel with Sister Jingxian and feel that she had stolen your fiancé. Jin Beibei said with a bitter face. Who would be angry? Cheng Minjing snorted. I don't like him at all. I'm just angry that you hid it from me. How can you blame others for your stupidity? Yi Xiaoya, however, said coldly, we all knew it but you didn't. Who are you to blame? You are just not good enough. You. Cheng Minjing glared at Yi Xiaoya angrily and said, you did it because you had the chance to get in touch with him, didn't you? If you hadn't been his partner and slept with him at night, how would you have known? You knew that he had a girlfriend but you still slept with him. You are not a good person at all. You are his fiancé. You can't control your man but you are still acting like this. You are just too lousy. Yi Xiaoya said disdainfully, he has never slept with you, has he? It means that he doesn't like you at all. He is not interested in you. End of Volume 1. Chapter 501. You. Qing Minjing was so angry that she was about to explode. She stood up and pointed at Yi Xiaoya. You. Xiao Qin is in trouble and you're still making sarcastic remarks here. I think he's fine. Nothing will happen to him. Yi Xiaoya, however, said casually, that's why I'm not worried. Only a fiancé like you who knows nothing will worry for nothing. Qing Minjing still wanted to say something, but the doorbell of the villa was rung. Jean Beibei hurried to open the door and saw two people dressed in the uniforms of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Is anyone here? We're from the enforcement team of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. We've been ordered to investigate Xiao Chen's case, said the leader of the two. Oh, I'm Jean Beibei. Do you know me? Jean Beibei walked over and said. Jean Beibei? The two were stunned. The leader said, we're looking for Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen isn't here. You can look for me, said Jean Beibei. Look for you? You can represent him? The leader was stunned. No, but I think. You know that I like my cousin-in-law. Jean Beibei said with a smile. The leader looked at 36J's Jean Beibei in confusion. What are you talking about? Nothing. When you see Xiao Chen's brother-in-law, he told him that Beibei is waiting for him at home and asked him when he'll be back, said Jean Beibei. You mean he hasn't been back? After listening for a long time, the leader finally understood what was going on. They had said a lot of nonsense, but only one sentence was the key. Yes. I miss him. Jean Beibei said, do you have any news about him? Any clues? No, not a clue at all. The leader said subconsciously. However, his expression changed as soon as he finished speaking. This was all confidential information. How could he tell others? Fortunately, he was relieved when he saw Jean Beibei's infatuated look. Alas, he said he would leave for a period of time. I thought he was joking, but he really left. Jean Beibei sighed and said with some bitterness. Did he say where he was going? Or how long will you be gone? The leader hurriedly asked. No, I heard that he went abroad. He said that he had committed a crime and needed to lie low. Jean Beibei said, by the way, why are you looking for him? Tell me, where did you read it? An investigation center? Is he a private detective? Did he have a mistress outside and hired you to investigate me? The leader's face darkened. No, it's fine. I'm leaving. I'll come back in a few days. All right. Come in and have a seat before you leave. How much did that mistress pay you? I'll give you double. Can you help me find my cousin-in-law? Jean Beibei said. Even if you don't give us the money, we still want to find him. All right, that's it. The leader planned to quickly report to the people behind him. There was an important clue here. Xiao Chen might have run out of the country. Judging from the silly, infatuated look of the girl, she should not be lying. However, it was possible that Xiao Chen was lying to her. The two of them left as quickly as they came. In fact, they also knew that it was impossible for Xiao Chen to go home in the current situation, unless he was an idiot. He would definitely run away as soon as possible. They did not think that they would see Xiao Chen in this place at all. Jean Beibei turned around and grinned. Qing Minjing and Yi Xiaoya had followed her out a long time ago. After hearing the conversation between Jean Beibei and the other two, they were both secretly relieved. It seemed that the people of the Supernatural Investigation Department did not have any leads on Xiao Chen at all. That was good news. However, Yi Xiaoya had to admire Jean Beibei. She had confused the people of the Supernatural Investigation Department with only a few words and accidentally revealed something important. Beibei, you are truly awesome, Qing Minjing said. The two of them were too stupid, Jean Beibei said. Cousin Minjing, rest assured. My cousin-in-law will certainly have a solution. I hope so. Qing Minjing sighed. The news that Xiao Chen was White Fox had been spread out. The Qing family was the most shocked. Old Master Qing immediately called for an emergency family meeting. Qing Zhongming, Qing Zhongfan, and Qing Mingqiang were present. Xiao Chen is White Fox? What do you think? Old Master Qing asked. Qing Mingqiang was secretly shocked. It was truly a surprise. How could Xiao Chen be White Fox? So why was he still alive? He had to admit that it was really a miracle. Li Shaning was dead, Leng Youxiang was dead, Qin Yuhan was dead, and even Yang Jianan of the Supernatural Investigation Department was killed by White Fox. This man was a lunatic. However, he was still alive and well after dealing with Xiao Chen and the Xiao family. Dad, actually, I told you long ago that Xiao Qian is still capable. He can definitely practice. But now, Cheng Zhoming was a little excited, but he was also worried because Xiao Qian had made a big mistake and was wanted by the Supernatural Investigation Department. I think it was the right thing to break off the engagement. Fortunately, it was broken off. Otherwise, the Cheng family would be implicated. However, Cheng Zhongfan said, this Xiao Qian is really good at enduring. This kind of person is definitely a scheming and black-bellied person. Our Cheng family definitely cannot have any dealings with him. Meng Chang, what do you think? Old Master Cheng asked. What I'm worried about is whether this Xiao Qian has any other purpose. If he showed his strength to the Cheng family before, would the Cheng family not accept him? But he didn't. Therefore, I think that Xiao Qian may be plotting something. Cheng Mingqiang thought about it and said, and that's right. Cheng Zhongfan also nodded and said, so, it's right for us to draw a clear line with him. We don't have to discuss this anymore. Whether Xiao Qian has the strength or not, can he compete with the Supernatural Investigation Department? Obviously not. This time he definitely can't escape this disaster, so we don't have to think about this anymore. It's better to take care of the Cheng family's own affairs. All right. Old Master Cheng thought about it and agreed. It didn't matter what happened to Xiao Qian. The Supernatural Investigation Department would never let go of Xiao Qian. At this moment, the Shen family also received the news. Shen Jinghao looked for Shen Jingmao with a shocked face. They couldn't contact Shen Jingxian, and they didn't know if Shen Jingxian knew or not. Anyway, they were both very surprised. Jingmao, did you know that Xiao Qian is White Fox? Shen Jinghao looked at Shen Jingmao with an inexplicable expression. I didn't know. Shen Jingmao shook his head. But, what about Big Brother White Fox this time? Can he turn the situation around? Because Shen Jingxian went to the Heavenly Fox sect, coupled with Shen Hongjian's support for Shen Jingmao, even if something happened to Xiao Qian, Shen Jingmao's status in the Shen family would not be affected. However, he was very worried about Xiao Qian. Who knows? Shen Jinghao frowned. He was wondering why White Fox wanted Jingxian a second-hand good. It turned out that White Fox was Xiao Qian. No wonder White Fox was so good to Shen Jingxian. However, the fact that Xiao Qian was White Fox really surprised him. Xiao Qian was a good-for-nothing, but he suddenly became an all-powerful master. If the Supernatural Investigation Department hadn't announced it, it would be hard for him to believe that the two were the same person. I think Big Brother White Fox should be able to turn the situation around. Shen Jingmao said, he's so powerful, the Supernatural Investigation Department will definitely not do anything to him. Jingmao, you're thinking too simply. How can you imagine the Supernatural Investigation Department's background? Shen Jinghao's face was solemn. If the Supernatural Investigation Department comes looking for you, don't talk nonsense. Just tell the truth. I know. Shen Jingmao nodded. At the Yu's house, Yu Xiaochuan was so anxious that Tang Tang, Yu Shanshan, and Zhu Yingxiong were a little dizzy. Brother, can you stop spinning? Can you solve the problem by spinning? Yu Shanshan said with a blurred vision. Yeah, Brother Xiaochuan, the boss will be fine. Stop spinning. Zhu Yingxiong also said. Tang Tang lowered her head and pondered, as if she didn't hear what these people said. To be honest, Tang Tang was most worried about Xiao Qian, but she also knew that she couldn't help. She could only silently pray for Xiao Qian. At this moment, Xiao Qian was still sitting in the car. He didn't go anywhere. He knew that the Supernatural Investigation Department was probably looking for him everywhere. He had to break the situation. Although he could kill a master at the martial master level, he wasn't arrogant enough to think that he could go against the Supernatural Investigation Department. He couldn't show up now and he couldn't stop the development of this matter. This made him feel a deep sense of powerlessness. In the past, no matter what kind of predicament he was in, he could calmly deal with it. But now he had no idea how to start. Elder Heaven Ancestor. What should I do? Xiao Qian took a deep breath and asked. You think of me when you have no other way? Elder Heaven Ancestor said faintly, you don't even know to look for me when there's a good thing. You only come when there's a problem. Elder Heaven Ancestor, don't make fun of me. Xiao Qian smiled bitterly, I really have no other way. Actually, the solution is thought of by people. Elder Heaven Ancestor said, now, what's the key point of the whole matter? Have you thought of it? The key point is that I killed Yang Tan. Xiao Qian said, if only Qin Yuhan died, the matter wouldn't be so big. I'm from the Demonic Star sect and he's from the Extreme Ice sect. Even if he wants revenge, he has to fight openly. Yes, this is the key point of the problem. Elder Heaven Ancestor said, As long as this problem is solved, the whole matter will be solved. But Yang Tan is already dead. How can it be solved? Are we going to let him live? Xiao Qin frowned. He couldn't understand what Elder Heaven Ancestor meant. You're right. Let him live. If he's alive, everything will be easy, Elder Heaven Ancestor said calmly. F***ck me. Elder Heaven Ancestor, don't make fun of me. He's alive? Xiao Qin suddenly thought of something and slapped his thigh. Elder Heaven Ancestor, you mean I? Chapter 502. Thought of it? Elder Heaven Ancestor smiled. If Yang Tan is fine, the limelight will pass. Naturally, it will be fine. Taking a deep breath, Xiao Qin logged into the Warrior Guild's app and saw Song Huawu's message asking him how was it. Xiao Qin replied directly, "Where do you live? I have something to do now. I need to go over immediately." Soon, Song Huawu replied to him, "Do you want to die? Looking for me now? Xiao Qin, tell me the address. It won't be a problem. Trust me." On the other side, Song Huawu hesitated for a while before sending the address. Xiao Qin looked at the address and drove all the way to Song Huawu's residence. However, just as the car stopped in the parking lot downstairs, two men in black in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau uniform pointed their guns at Xiao Qin's car. At this time, the person driving Yang Tan's car should be Xiao Qin without a doubt. However, Xiao Qin opened the door and got out of the car. He looked at the two men and said angrily, "You are also from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Which department are you from? How dare you point a gun at me?" Team Leader Yang? These two men in black were the two who went to the Xiao family in Cheng Minjing's villa. They couldn't find Xiao Qin's headquarters. After reporting that Xiao Qin might have gone abroad, they returned to Xia Shibin's place and planned to discuss it with Xia Shibin. After all, Xia Zhili had said that Xia Shibin was a reliable person. What are you doing here? Xiao Qin's appearance had transformed into Yang Jianan's appearance, and his voice was imitating his voice. Team Leader Yang, are you okay? The leader asked curiously. Didn't I just fall off a cliff? What can happen to me? Fortunately, I was lucky enough to die on a tree branch. Are you here for this? Xiao Qin asked with a strange expression. Yes, Team Leader Yang. We thought you sacrificed yourself, so. The leader said, since there is nothing else, we will go first. We have to report the situation to the higher-ups. Go. Xiao Qin waved his hand and opened the building's security door. Although Xiao Qin didn't have an access card, he directly used his Yuan Qi to open the door. It looked like he was swiping a card to open the door, so the two people didn't suspect anything. They turned around and quickly left. They didn't need to find Xia Shibin, they needed to report the situation to him. When Xia Zhili heard that Yang Jianan didn't die, he was surprised. But when he heard that Yang Jianan was hanging on the tree, he understood that it was a false alarm. He immediately called Yang Jianan's phone, but no one answered. After some thought, he dialed Xia Shibin's number. Xiao Qin arrived at the door of Song Huawu's room and rang the doorbell. Oh. Song Huawu asked from inside. It's me. Xiao Qin said in his original voice. Ka. The security door opened, but when Song Huawu saw the appearance of the person outside, she was shocked. How could this person be Yang Tan? Yang Tan. How come it's you? Song Huawu was so scared that she took 2 steps back. She looked at the person in front of her in disbelief. This person is actually the dead Yang Tan. How did he come back to life and come here? It's me. Xiao Qin smiled and said, how is it? Are you scared? Xiao Qin. Song Huawu was stunned. She was a little surprised. You are actually Xiao Qin? How did you become Yang Tan? Let's go in and talk. Xiao Qin said. Okay. Song Huawu quickly let Xiao Qin into the room and poured him a cup of water. You really dare. How dare you kill Yang Tan? Do you know that this is a big crime? And, if I don't kill him, he will kill me, so I must kill him. Xiao Qin said, he asked me to go to the cliff to kill me. I know. I saw the video. Song Huawu nodded. Then what do you plan to do next? I won't appear as Xiao Qin for the time being. I plan to appear as Yang Tan for a while, said Xiao Qin. Yang Tan? Song Huawu was stunned. She was a little shocked. You want to pretend to be Yang Tan? Yes. Xiao Qin nodded and said, Xiao Qin is wanted. The root cause is actually Yang Tan. As long as Yang Tan is fine, slowly Xiao Qin's wanted order will be lifted. But, won't it be exposed? Song Huawu was a little speechless by Xiao Chen's boldness. Aren't you too bold? Thank goodness. Just as Xiao Chen finished speaking, he heard a burst of laughter coming from outside the anti-theft door, followed by a bang 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 sound of knocking on the door. Who is it? Song Huawu was slightly surprised and asked. Open the door, Song Huawu. Xiao Chen stopped pretending. Xia Shibin's voice came from the door. Song Huawu's face suddenly became a little ugly. Why is Xia Shibin here? However, she and Xiao Chen didn't speak loudly before. It was impossible to reach the door. Even if Xia Shibin stood at the door, he couldn't hear it. However, Song Huawu still opened the door. It would be worse if she didn't let him in. Maybe Xia Shibin would directly inform the Supernatural Investigation Bureau to arrest her. It was better to let him in to talk. Maybe there would be an unexpected turn of events. The door opened and sure enough it was Xia Shibin. He was looking at Song Huawu and the Yang Tan, in the room with a smirk on his face. He laughed and said, Xiao Chen, you still want to pretend to be team leader Yang? Dream on. When you pretended to be team leader Yang and went to the private room to snatch people, I knew you would do this. Xiao Chen's face was also a little ugly. He didn't understand how Xia Shibin recognized him, but he still pretended to say, Xia Shibin, what nonsense are you talking about? I'm your Yang Tan brother Yang. Don't talk nonsense. Sit down, ha ha, don't pretend. Xiao Chen, do you think I don't know? Xia Shibin looked at Xiao Chen in ridicule and said, You haven't even changed your clothes. Do you think I don't know you? Besides, it's useless to pretend. You still don't know, right? You don't know how I found you, right? Didn't the two people downstairs tell you? Xiao Chen was slightly surprised. They told me, but they told me that team leader Yang came back. They didn't tell me that you are Xiao Chen, said Xia Shibin. Then how did you know? Xiao Chen frowned. Song Huawu, maybe you don't know yet, right? The mobile phones that our Supernatural Investigation Bureau staff are equipped with have a close-range monitoring function. Even if your mobile phone is offline, not connected to the internet or even turned off, we can monitor through the mobile phones in the nearby bureau. Xia Shibin said, It's just that usually, every mobile phone has a corresponding authorization password. This password is only controlled by the headquarters. We don't know it. However, the headquarters told me your monitoring code. I have been monitoring you. Sure enough, I found out the secret. Ah. Xiao Chen looked at Xia Shibin and was a little speechless. This guy really has the potential to be a spy. All kinds of secretly recording and monitoring are out of control. It's impossible to guard against. It seems that Song Huawu doesn't know about this. Song Huawu's expression was a little dark. She deliberately turned off her mobile phone. She didn't expect that the close-range monitoring function was so awesome. It could actually be turned off and monitored. Xia Shibin, since you recognized me, then it's nothing. Sit down and talk. Xiao Chen pointed to the sofa over there and said, Looking at your appearance, you haven't reported it yet, right? You came to me for some other purpose, right? Yes, Xiao Chen. You teach me the secret of transforming into other people's appearance and I can let you go. Xia Shibin said, How about it? As long as you tell me, I can act as if nothing happened and I haven't seen you. I will let you go. Of course, if you can't escape and get caught again, then don't blame me. I knew it. Xiao Chen smiled faintly after listening. I can't teach you this. Your physique isn't good enough. You can't practice our Devil Gates mind technique. It's useless to teach you. That means there's nothing to talk about? Xia Shibin's expression changed and he said with some malevolence, You better think it through. If you don't cooperate, I'll tell the Supernatural Investigation Bureau that you're here and let them catch you. At that time, you won't be able to return. I say, Xia Shibin, what benefits do you get from doing this? Do you think that you can be valued by doing this? Xiao Chen asked faintly, Do you think that you can be valued by jumping up and down like this? Is it your turn to be the team leader of Team C? I think the biggest possibility is still Song Huawu, right? Don't talk about this. If she is the team leader, I can also be the deputy team leader. Xia Shibin said, Have you thought about it? Xia Shibin, why don't I let you listen to a recording? Xiao Chen took out his mobile phone and clicked on a recording. I recorded what you said to me just now. Don't you want to listen? If this is heard by the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, you won't have a good time. From Xiao Chen's mobile phone, the words that Xia Shibin had just said to him came out, including Xia Shibin saying that as long as Xiao Chen said the secret of changing his face, he would let go of Xiao Chen. Are very good. Xia Shibin's face changed again and again. I learned it from you. Xiao Chen smiled. But so what? I can tell the Supernatural Investigation Bureau that I lied to you by asking you to tell the secret. Let's see if someone believes me or you at that time. Xia Shibin immediately thought of an excuse. Oh, okay, then I will let you listen to another recording. As Xiao Qin said this, he clicked on another recording. It was the recording that Lu Jinming had recorded before. Xia Shibin used his identity to threaten Lu Jinming. Xia Shibin was stunned. How do you have this? What do you mean? I don't mean anything. You say, if I spread this recording, will the Supernatural Investigation Bureau still protect you? Xiao Qin said indifferently, it doesn't matter if you have someone to protect you. This matter? Chapter 503. You. Xia Shibin didn't expect Xiao Qin to bring up this matter. He was a little exasperated. Xiao Qin, how dare you? Why wouldn't I dare? Xiao Qin said indifferently, you can quibble about the previous recording. What about this? Xia Shibin took a few deep breaths. He didn't expect that Xiao Qin actually kept this trump card. Indeed, it would be a big scandal if this matter was spread out. Although he helped Yang Tan was already dead. He and Xia Zhili weren't on good terms to the point where Xia Zhili would spare no effort to protect him. At that time he was afraid that the fate waiting for him would be to be fired. After thinking about it and weighing the pros and cons, Xia Shibin finally said, Xiao Qin, tell me, what do you want? It's very simple. I will be Yang Tan in the future and you will still follow me. Yang Jianan is the evil leader and you are just a follower. So, I don't plan to do anything. As long as you admit my identity as Yang Tan, then you will still be my underling. Xiao Qin said, having me to protect you is better than having an illusory backer, right? This. Xia Shibin was silent. What Xiao Qin said was indeed attractive enough. Yang Tan was dead and he lost his backer in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. It was hard to say whether Xia Zhili would accept him. After all, he was only a low-level figure in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. He was just an ordinary member of Team C. It was almost impossible for him to be as successful as he was now. Moreover, the most important thing was that he and Yang Tan were very close in the beginning, and he had offended a lot of people. Those disobedient members were secretly targeted by Xia Shibin. Now that Yang Tan was dead, if he didn't get promoted, it would be difficult for him to move forward. It was hard to say whether he could continue to be a part of it. Therefore, Xia Shibin really listened to Xiao Qin's suggestion. His heart was constantly struggling. He wanted to make a reasonable choice. After all, this matter was very important. He had to be careful. After 10 minutes, but in Xia Shibin's eyes, it was a long time. He raised his head and said, okay Xiao Qin, I promise you, but you have to protect me like when Yang Tan was here. And I want to follow you like before. No problem. Our relationship is indispensable. I want you to help me cover so your identity and status will not change. You used to be by Yang Tan's side, but now you can be by my side. However, at this point Xiao Qin paused for a moment and said, as long as you're obedient, I won't do anything to you. However, you don't have to think of using this matter to threaten me and ride roughshod over me. If you do, I'll kill you. You also know that my temper isn't very good. I like to kill people. Whoever I don't like, I'll kill them. Once I gain a firm foothold, I'll kill you without anyone knowing. That's an easy thing to do. Xia Shibin shivered. Indeed, what he thought before was that he wanted to obtain power and benefits through Xiao Qin. At that time, even if Xiao Qin was the leader of Team C, he knew his identity. If he did something out of line, he believed that Xiao Qin would turn a blind eye to it. Even his real status and authority would be similar to that of the leader of Team C. But now it seemed that his imagination was too simple. Xiao Qin would not allow him to do this. And Xiao Qin said it very clearly. If he dared to do this, he would kill him. Xia Shibin didn't think that this was a threat. In his opinion, Xiao Qin dared to do this and it was 100% daring. Since Xiao Qin said it, it proved that as long as Xia Shibin was obedient, Xiao Qin would not kill him. Otherwise, if Xiao Qin really wanted to kill him, Xiao Qin wouldn't say it in advance. Xiao Qin would pretend to be courteous to Xia Shibin first, and then wait for the opportunity to kill him. I understand. Brother Xiao, don't worry. You are my boss in the future. I will listen to you. Xia Shibin also made a decision decisively. Sister Huawu, you have to protect me in the future. You can't always make things difficult for me behind my back like before. If you cooperate with Xiao Qin, I won't trouble you. Song Huawu said. In the past, she had indeed secretly opposed Xia Shibin. She was probably the only one in Team C who dared to oppose Xia Shibin. Okay, no problem. Xia Shibin nodded again and again. Oh yeah, Deputy Bureau Chief Xia just called me and asked me to confirm if Brother Yang is really fine. Brother Yang, what do you think? And I will give him a call back. Xiao Chen thought about it. He was already back. It wasn't right to let Xia Shibin reply, so he said, you tell me roughly how Yang Tan usually talks to this Deputy Bureau Chief Xia. How is their relationship? Okay, I will tell you. Xia Shibin said quickly. Deputy Bureau Chief Xia's real name is Xia Zhili. Xia Shibin didn't hide anything. He was counting on working with Xiao Chen in the future. If Xiao Chen was fine, then he would be fine. So he naturally hoped that Xiao Chen could muddle through. However, Xiao Chen listened to Xia Shibin's words and knew that although Yang Tan often secretly gave benefits to Xia Zhili, in fact, it was still the kind of relationship between a superior and a subordinate. There wasn't a deep relationship. It could only be said to be a relationship of benefits. That was easy. This Xia Zhili didn't know Yang Tan very well. He could completely disguise himself. He used Xia Shibin's mobile phone to call Xia Zhili. Xia Shibin, how is it? Did Yang Jianan go back? Xia Zhili's voice came from the phone. Deputy Bureau Chief Xia, it's me, Yang Jianan. I'm back, said Xiao Chen. Oh, Jianan, you're back? Why didn't your previous mobile phone work? Asked Xia Zhili. The mobile phone fell to the bottom of the cliff. As Xiao Chen said this, he didn't expect Xia Zhili to actually open a video call request. Xiao Chen hesitated and didn't dare to open it. He pretended not to see it and continued, Deputy Bureau Chief Xia, let me tell you that I'm safe. I'm covered in blood now. I want to take a shower. I will visit you tomorrow morning. That's fine. You can come tomorrow. Xia Zhili actually wanted to confirm if the other party was Yang Tan, but after listening to him, he didn't force it. Instead, he said, then you give the phone to Xia Shibin. Okay, Deputy Bureau Chief Xia. As Xiao Chen said this, he gave the phone to Xia Shibin. Xia Shibin, is Yang Jianan really back? Asked Xia Zhili. And Team Leader Yang is back. It's really scary but not dangerous. Xia Shibin said, Deputy Team Leader Song is also next to us. We just discussed it. Do you think that the arrest warrant for Xiao Chen can be cancelled? After all, Team Leader Yang is fine. It's not good to keep the arrest warrant, right? You don't have to worry about this. I'll handle it. Xia Zhili said, we'll talk about it when you come tomorrow. After that, Xia Zhili hung up the phone. Xiao Chen was secretly shocked, but Xia Shibin was puzzled. Brother Yang, it's good that you picked up the video call just now. Deputy Bureau Chief Xia can confirm that you're back. You didn't pick it up. I can't pick it up. My current appearance is only effective for human eyes. It's ineffective for those technological devices. Xiao Chen said, so you should try to help me cover up in the future. Don't let people record me and don't let people take photos of me. Otherwise it will be exposed. It turns out to be like this. Xia Shibin was stunned. He was a little surprised. So, in the video in the nightclub, Brother Yang, you actually changed your appearance, but the surveillance video didn't record it successfully, right? It should be. Xiao Chen nodded. So let's get ready. We'll go back to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau together tomorrow. I must meet Xia Zhili or else he will always be suspicious. Okay, then we'll go back early tomorrow morning. Xia Shibin said, Brother Yang, are you staying at Sister Huawu's place? I'll go upstairs? Xiao Chen nodded. Staying at Song Huawu's place was the best choice. It was more convenient. Although Xia Shibin came over, he had no choice. It was a mutually beneficial relationship. Xiao Chen didn't want him to know too much about himself. Song Huawu's face was slightly red, but she didn't object. After all, it was the most convenient for Xiao Chen to live here. Moreover, she also knew that Xiao Chen probably wouldn't have any improper thoughts about her. Xia Shibin left and only Song Huawu was left in the room. Xiao Chen fell on the sofa. He was a little tired. I'll sleep here tonight. It won't bother you, right? Song Huawu shook her head. Actually, there are 2 rooms here. There is a small bed in that room. You can sleep there. You don't have to sleep in the living room. So nice. Xiao Chen wasn't polite. He nodded and followed the direction Song Huawu pointed and entered the room. After hesitating for a while, Xiao Chen sent a group message to eldest Miss, Jin Beibei, Tang Tang, Yi Xiaoye and Xin Jingxian. There were only 3 words, I'm fine. He didn't know whether Xin Jingxian could receive it or not. Mobile phones might not be allowed in her sect. After thinking for a while, Xiao Chen replied to Xiao Zhao's mysterious mailbox. I'm fine. If you see me one day, don't be surprised if I'm not called Xiao Chen or White Fox. Cheng Minjing and the others received Xiao Chen's message and were relieved. Eldest Miss went upstairs with Jean Bebe in silence. She felt a little uncomfortable without Xiao Chen at home all of a sudden. In the past, although she always asked Xiao Chen to do this and that as if she was dissatisfied with Xiao Chen, she was actually quite satisfied with Xiao Chen. Unexpectedly, the feeling she had at that moment came true. Xiao Chen had really left. Cheng Minjing felt empty in her heart as if she had lost something. When Xiao Chen transferred to another school, she didn't have such a feeling. But now, she began to miss him and get used to the days when he was with her. Cousin Minjing, don't worry. My cousin-in-law is so powerful. You will be fine. Yang Tan is an expert in the first level of martial master. Even he was killed by my cousin-in-law easily. Jean Bebe comforted her. Who's worried about him? Cheng Minjing, however, snorted. He only knows how to make trouble every day. Why did he provoke Yang Tan? If he sat at the same table with me at school, how could he have provoked Yang Tan? He became enemies with Yang Tan because he fell in love with Song Huawu. I'm afraid that he will get the Cheng family into trouble. That bastard. Chapter 504. Jean Bebe looked at Cheng Minjing, who said one thing but meant another. She patted her forehead and said, "All right, we'll make an announcement in the Warrior Guild tomorrow. We'll say that Xiao Chen has nothing to do with us. That's not necessary. We have to spend points." "No way," Cheng Minjing said hurriedly, "because it's not worth it for him to spend points." "Fine." Jean Bebe shrugged. "I wonder where my cousin-in-law is. He can go wherever he wants." Cheng Minjing was quite unhappy. "Why didn't you tell me earlier that you were so powerful? If you had told me earlier, the Cheng family would not have broken off the engagement, right? You obviously like Xinjing Xian and don't like me. You can't wait to break off the engagement, can't you? You flirt with Song Huo. You are dumbfounded now, aren't you? You are a wanted man now, aren't you? You deserve it." Cheng Minjing cursed while praying that Xiao Chen would not be caught. As for Yi Xiaoye, she called her master as soon as she returned to her room. Qi Xiangmei, as soon as she returned to her room. "Xiaoye, I was going to call you even if you didn't call me. White Fox is Xiao Chen. Why didn't you tell me before?" Qi Xiangmei asked. "I just found out." Before Yi Xiaoye could tell her, Xiao Chen was in trouble. "All right, the people from the Extreme Ice sect might look for you to understand the situation. However, you don't have to be afraid of them. Don't betray Xiao Chen either. I will back you up." Qi Xiangmei was very determined when she said this. However, Yi Xiaoye was not surprised at all. She said, "I understand. I won't betray him. Instead, I will try my best to help him." "That's good. I won't tell you more." "I believe you know what to do," Qi Xiangmei reminded her. "Yes, I know what to do," Yi Xiaoye replied. Xiao Chen lay on the strange bed and could not fall asleep for a long time. The facilities in the room were simple, just like in a hotel. However, Xiao Chen was not at ease. When he was chased out of the Xiao family, he had a brief moment of confusion. It was the elder heaven ancestor who had rekindled his hope in life. Now he had the same feeling again. Xiao Chen did not know where he should go in the future. The identity of Yang Tan might bring him some convenience, but it would also bring him some troubles. The flaw of the illusion caused Xiao Chen to have to be extremely careful in the future. Otherwise, it was very likely that Xiao Chen's previous efforts would all go to waste. After cultivating for an entire night, Xiao Chen subconsciously wanted to cook when he woke up in the morning. However, when he opened his eyes, he realized that he was no longer in the villa, and there was no need for him to cook. When he woke up in the morning, he subconsciously wanted to cook. However, when he opened his eyes, he found that he was no longer in the villa, so there was no need to cook. Looking at the sky outside, Xiao Chen planned to get up and go to the bathroom. However, when he came out of the room, he saw Song Huawu busy in the kitchen. When she saw Xiao Chen come out, she was a little surprised. "Xiao Chen, why are you up so early?" "Yes, of course." Song Huawu said, "I don't like to eat outside, so I cook by myself every day. I brought you some today. Try my cooking." Okay. Xiao Chen did not expect Song Huawu to be such a virtuous girl. She even knew how to cook. These days there were not many girls who could cook. Moreover, she took the initiative to bring him a portion. It was hard for Xiao Chen to imagine that she had such a gentle side. Soon Song Huawu served breakfast. It was fried eggs and purple potato porridge. Although the eggs were fried, they looked good. Xiao Chen could not wait to take a bite. "He did not eat last night." "How is it?" asked Song Huawu. Not bad. I'll make it for you tomorrow, said Xiao Qin. Huh? Are you for real? You'll make it for me? Song Huawu was a little surprised. Do you know how to cook? Xiao Qin was a little speechless. I started out selling fried dough sticks. Didn't you investigate me? I thought you were here to do hard labor. Song Huawu smiled embarrassedly. Okay, then I'll wait and see. Hurry up and eat. After eating, we'll go to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Northern Branch. Deputy Bureau Chief Xia is the person in charge there. Okay. Xiao Qin nodded and quickly finished the porridge and fried eggs in front of him. Song Huawu did not expect him to eat so much, but fortunately she made more. There was still some left in the pot. Xiao Qin finished them all. After Xia Shibin finished his breakfast downstairs, he came to find Xiao Qin and Song Huawu. He knocked on the door. At this time Xiao Qin and Song Huawu were already dressed. The three of them went to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Northern Branch together. Xia Zhili was one of the elders of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Back then he had relied on his profound martial cultivation strength to join. This person was good at currying favor, and he had climbed to his current position step by step. Currently he was one of the most authoritative figures in the Northern Branch. Xiao Qin came to the Northern Branch with Song Huawu and Xia Shibin. The people at the door knew Yang Jianan and the others, so they did not stop them and let them in smoothly. Xiao Qin tried his best to avoid the direction of the surveillance cameras. Of course, it did not matter even if he was recorded because nothing special happened. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau would not check the surveillance cameras for no reason. Under Song Huawu's hint, they came to the door of Xia Zhili's office with ease. They knocked on the door and a deep voice came from inside. Who is it? Come in. Deputy Bureau Chief Xia, it's me, Yang Jianan. Xiao Qin pushed the door open with a smile, followed by Song Huawu and Xia Shibin. And it's Jianan. You're really fine. It's good that you're fine. When Xia Zhili saw Yang Tan, he breathed a sigh of relief and said, Don't be so reckless next time. He's just an insignificant person. Is there a need to recover so quickly? Insignificant person, my ass. Old man, I'll kick you to death sooner or later. On the surface, Xiao Qin looked like he had learned a lesson. He nodded and said, Sai, it's also because I was impulsive. Isn't it because Qin Yuhan from the Extreme Ice sect begged me? I couldn't refuse, so I agreed. I was thinking that there's no harm in our Supernatural Investigation Bureau roping in more sections. When Deputy Bureau Chief Xia's ranking moves up, I can also be transferred to Team B to manage these sects. And you're considerate. Xia Zhili nodded and said, But in the future, you have to discuss it with me. I understand, Deputy Bureau Chief Xia. Don't worry, I know what to do. Xiao Qin quickly said. By the way, I heard from Huawu that there's an ancient ruin near Songning City? Xia Zhili changed the topic and asked. Xiao Qin didn't answer. Even if he knew, he still turned his gaze to Song Huawu. Yes, Deputy Bureau Chief Xia. There's indeed an ancient ruin, but I'm not sure of its exact location. I'm still following up on this matter. Song Huawu said. And Jianan, when the time comes, you should follow and see if there's anything good. Xia Zhili glanced at Xiao Qin and hinted. Okay, if there's something good, I'll bring it back for you. Xiao Qin quickly nodded. Xia Zhili was very satisfied and continued, Jianan, you and Huawu have been working together for some time now, right? I'm actually very optimistic about the two of you being together. After all, the nature of our Supernatural Investigation Bureau's work is special. It's not easy to find partners outside the circle. So, Huawu, you can consider it. Yang Jianan had become Xiao Qin. Song Huawu naturally wouldn't be as resistant as before, but she still acted calmly. A hint of disgust flashed in her eyes and then she said, Okay, Deputy Bureau Chief Xia, I understand. Okay, then you guys go. Call me if there's anything. Xia Zhili didn't say much. He just casually helped Yang Jianan. Whether it succeeded or not was another matter. On the surface, as a superior, he was very concerned about his subordinates. By the way, Deputy Bureau Chief Xia, can we cancel the arrest warrant for Xiao Qin? Before Xiao Qin left, he asked, Isn't it a bit too much to issue a warrant for an ordinary family's young master? You don't have to worry about this. Since I've already issued a warrant, if I cancel it now, wouldn't it mean that I've done something wrong? However, Xia Zhili waved his hand and said, You don't have to worry about this. If he's wrong, then he's wrong. He's just a nobody. Who cares about him? Old B****, I really want to slap you to death. Xiao Qin was so angry that he gritted his teeth. However, he could only let it be for now. He would look for opportunities in the future. He nodded and said, Deputy Bureau Chief Xia, then I'll leave first. When the time comes, I'll see if there's anything good in the ancient ruins for you. Okay. Xia Zhili nodded non-committally. Xiaoqin returned to Songning City with Song Huawu and Xia Shibin and went to school. This time, Xiaoqin swaggered to the seat of Xiaoqin. Anyway, Xiaoqin had run away and he, Yang Tan, was back. Naturally, he would sit in this seat. Seeing that Yang Tan was not dead and had come to school, Qing Minjing and Jin Beibei were instantly shocked. What the F***ck, Yang Tan is not dead? Jin Beibei's eyes widened. Wasn't he killed by my cousin-in-law? Who knows? Qing Minjing was a little puzzled too. The news that Yang Tan was not dead had not spread out. They only learned about it today. If Yang Tan is not dead, why is my cousin-in-law still wanted? I'll go and ask him. Jin Beibei was a little angry. She stood up and rushed to Yang Tan. Hey Yang Tan, Jin Beibei came to Xiaoqin and stared at him with her hands on her waist. Where's my cousin-in-law? Who knows where your cousin-in-law is? Seeing that Jin Beibei was so concerned about him, Xiaoqin was touched. However, he still pretended to be Yang Tan and sneered. You lost your cousin-in-law and came to me? You didn't have an affair with him, did you? What does it have to do with you? You envy him, don't you? Jin Beibei snorted. Since you are not dead, why are you still wanted for my cousin-in-law? Cancel the wanted order and let him come back. I'm sorry. The wanted order is because he killed Qin Yuhan of the Extreme Ice sect. It has nothing to do with me, Xiaoqin said. Unless the Extreme Ice sect stops pursuing it, there's nothing I can do. Humph. Jin Beibei was so angry that she kicked Xiaoqin's foot. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.